Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jeranism back with another live video for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. Thank you to those of you in the chat. Hello to everyone, especially those down under. You know who you are down in Australia. Hopefully your head's not hurting too bad tonight from the upside downness. And I can't really help you on that one, but hopefully we can get you guys some help. And to those also perpendicular to me, I guess they would be in Mozambique or Hawaii. Hope you guys are doing well too. So thank you to everyone for joining me. We are going to talk about SpaceX, or as I like to call them, FakeX. So it should be an interesting little talk. What is the truth about this Falcon Heavy that launched yesterday and landed, or supposedly landed, or we'll talk about that. And then talk about that centerpiece that didn't quite make it to the barge, crashed into the water, and then we'll talk about Fake Spaceman, which is the classic image that you've seen of the little fake man inside the Tesla Roadster and looking at the Earth. So it's funny, you know, I've got some friends, even some that are not flat earthers, and today I had several of them text me pictures and say, "This is not supposed to be real, is it?" And I said, "Oh no, that's supposed to be real." And so I think all the work that we've been doing is going to pay off, has been paying off, will continue to pay off with things like that. People are starting to see stuff and just question it, which is what we need to do. Up here on the screen right now, I have a picture of Tommy. Tommy is a blind gentleman. He has a channel here on YouTube. I'll put his link in the description. I also may be having an interview with him soon, hopefully soon, and that'll probably be on Raw on Monday nights. The #1 show on TFR on Monday nights from 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific, 9 to midnight Eastern. And that show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, so don't forget to check in. It is free to listen to the live broadcast Monday nights, 6 p.m., so check that out. But I'm going to be trying to have an interview with Tommy. It's interesting to talk to people who are blind. They just have a different, obviously, perspective on everything that we see. So I'm just going to play a little clip here of him talking about things that he would love to see if he ever was given the gift of sight. So we'll pick it up from somewhere near the middle. But let's go ahead and have a listen.
Sky is something I'm fascinated by. I'd love to see it, both daytime and nighttime sky. Because the daytime sky is cool because all the clouds going by and stuff and the sunshine, and there's several different types of clouds too. So I'd like to get to see all that. And then the nighttime sky must be awesome with all the stars and the moon and all that stuff that's jillions of miles away that you guys can see. I'd love to see a tall building. You know, I've been in tall buildings. Heck, I've been in World Trade. I don't really get an idea of how big it is, how tall it is. It'd be very cool to be on the ground, to be able to look up like 1,400 feet in the sky and see the top of a building. The ocean is something that's also fascinating to me. Listen, I've been in the ocean a million times, ridden the waves, you know, body surfed and, you know, that whole thing, and heard the sound of it, right? But to actually look at it, oh man. See, the idea of being able to look out at something that never ends is something that I'm completely not familiar with. I have no concept of that. I don't know what that could be like. I'd like to look at the planet Earth, you know, from space, like from the Hubble telescope or from the space shuttle or something like that. You know, I've heard it described as a big blue marble, but, you know, I guess you have to see it to believe it. You know, I've heard it described as a big blue marble, but, you know, I guess you have to see it to believe it.
So, yeah, I want to have a little conversation with Tommy and maybe try and explain to him that it may not be the truth simply because we are told that we live on the big blue marble. But stay tuned for that. Hopefully that is something coming up soon. Also wanted to go through, obviously, the videos that happened yesterday. The actual launch. We're going to go through that and look at a few things. I've tried to pull up my editor here. I'm going to see if it works because I do want to show you. During last night's live broadcast, we were saying there was some sync problems with the bottom cameras. Now, I haven't done a whole lot of research today on whether or not that's been admitted. It is clear that they have two of the same feed coming through, and I'll show you that. Hopefully you can see that. 1 second. Let's see if we can get you to look at that. All right, let's see. Hopefully you can see the screen of my editor here, and I'm going to, or do you not see that? Let me see here. Oh, you don't see, do I have to press play? 1 second. This is something I didn't make sure worked first. I should have done that. Let me see here if this...
Well, if you could hear all that cheering.
Sorry about the sound.
It was an outstanding test flight of the Falcon Heavy.
Interesting. It doesn't show my editor. All right, well, I'll see if I can show it in the actual video itself. My editor plays, but it doesn't show the video for you. Very interesting. So let's go to that video. And then something else I did, and we'll look at in a little bit, I'll just show it to you now, just so you can see what I did. I took the Starman, or fake Starman as I'll call him. I took that video. It was about 4.5 hours long. Thank you, Bob, for securing that for me. It was hard to get at first because you weren't able to download it as long as it was playing. And then they blocked it right after, but luckily Bob secured it. Let's go to that video here. Okay. And what I did is I took out all the black frames and took out all the... Okay, that's nice of you. Why did it just tell me no? Okay. Oh, I know why I moved it. 1 second. I put it in a different folder. And it would be here and here. Nope. And here. There we go. Now we should be seeing it. What is going on here? It's telling me it can't find it. There we go. That's what I want to show you. So what I did is I took out all the black frames and I also sped it up to 300 frames per second, which is about 10 times. Yeah, 10 times as fast. Just because it gives us a better kind of look at exactly what they're trying to pass off as being real. And that's basically going to be the majority. I'm going to show you a couple things, but then we're going to just discuss what it means to, experience life and what is experience, and the fact that they're trying to sell us something that we don't experience. And it just wouldn't work anywhere else. I mean, if you look at these things flying off here in the back. Would you pay for Disneyland not to go? I don't think anybody would, because the point of Disneyland is to experience Disneyland. Yet people will keep letting their tax money go to things like interplanetary travel and Mars research and places we'll never go, places we'll never see. And yet we're okay with them taking our money to go and I guess look at those places or explore, who knows. So hopefully you're seeing this video now coming across, which should just be a joke to anyone who has any thinking mind. This is what they've done, is they've trapped us in like an intellectual trap. Whereas as long as you tell everybody you're only smart if you believe it, then it really keeps people from feeling okay with questioning it. I am not one of those people. I will tell you flat out, this is 100% fake. You might ask me, well, where's your evidence? Well, where's the evidence this is fake? Show me it's fake. Well, right here on the screen. This is my evidence. So you can believe this all you want. That's up to you. Me, I think it's a joke. I think it's hilarious that anybody would believe that Earth ball is where they live, or that that's what it would look like from that distance, or that water can be suspended on a ball, spinning in outer space, which is just nothingness. What's holding the ball up? Oh, gravity. Tard. That's what you get. That who is really the? This is something I want to show you real quick. I'll stop this. I saw this and I couldn't figure it out last night. What is this thing? I'll get back to that, but I'm going to show you what's on this so-called Earth ball. Come around here. Let's go. Did I really rewind that far? Didn't mean to. All right. We're going to be looking at this thing here. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I always forget. There's like this little black, I don't know what it is, mark. We'll call it a mark. There's a black mark on the Earth. I don't know what it is. I'm going to expand back out and we'll watch it even further as it swings around. You actually get to see it 2 or 3 times in a row. Oopsie, didn't mean to move that. So watch this thing. I'll just kind of play it for a second here. I'll actually slow this down so we can just watch this little thing. What is this thing? It doesn't look like it's land. It's not some sort of island or something. We'll look at it here when it comes past the window. And I'll zoom in on it so we can see again. Okay, right here. Let's check this out. Oh, I have to go this way. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell everybody, my computer keeps getting that, it used to be called the blue screen of death. Nowadays, it's a little bit more friendly. It looks like this. I got a picture of it finally. Transition. I don't know if anybody has any clues about it. I've done so many things to try and repair it. But it just keeps coming up. So if I do lose you again, I apologize. I really do. But this is the screen that comes up. And so I've had to do a couple things and update drivers and everything. And I even did one of those check discs, which took like 7 hours yesterday. But it still keeps doing it in the middle of my live stream. So I'm not really sure why. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. Transitioning back over here. So what is this thing here on the Earth? What is that? I don't know what that's supposed to be. If anybody knows, you could put it in the chat, I guess, because I don't know. And we'll go back and let it play again. Let me redo the screen. Okay. And it will actually come around here again. Let me speed this back up to regular. Okay. So we'll watch it as it comes around here again. So it's not something that is, I don't know. I guess obviously it's whatever it is attached to whatever they're calling the Earth. So we'll see it come around here in a second. And again, I just don't think people are really thinking about the fact of a company that has $52 million a day. If this lie is true, which I certainly think that it is, and many people are starting to see the same thing, then you have to understand that they will go to any stretch to keep the lie going. So, there it went. I just missed it. Let me go back just a hair. Maybe there. All right. And we'll let it come through here again. Okay. So, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Maybe somebody can fill us in. What is that? So, maybe that's your evidence if you want to know why I think it's fake, but I don't think I need any evidence because this is all the evidence I need. For instance, what did we put on this steering wheel to protect it from 250-degree temperatures? Pretty sure you put anything 250 degrees anywhere near any of this plastic upholstery. Goodnight, Irene. It's done. Yet not in the world of intellectualism where things just happen because people say they do. You don't need proof anymore. You just, Elon Musk says it happens, so it must have happened. That's it. Smart people say it can be done, so it must take place. It's ridiculous. What did they protect this paint with? Look at this thing going. Is this supposed to be Australia? Is that really supposed to be Australia? Please tell me it's not supposed to be Australia. You can figure out for yourself how much how far away you'd have to be to see Australia like that. And I believe the Himawari satellite, right? Even that's 22,000 miles away. I don't know if people have seen that. That was the moon that went by. Let's go back and look at that because it's pretty funny. Let's go through. Now remember, this moon of ours that's interesting. Hold on one second. I want to go back a little bit. I saw something else here. Anybody see that? Kind of looks like a glare right here on some sort of string thing. Watch. And glare. Interesting. Okay, so this moon of ours, supposedly, according to, again, intellectuals, okay, this moon is a quarter of the size of Earth, okay, and is 30 Earth diameters away. Okay, so you just need to think, how far away that would be. And is this what you would see? This little thing here, that's 30 Earth diameters away? Give me a break. Get your head screwed on straight. Or just simply defer to whatever men tell you. Men tell you it's real. It was on the news, in case you didn't notice. It was a big deal. A lot of people were there cheering and screaming and yelling. So I'm pretty sure that must mean it's real. It can't be anything else. Nobody's tried to ever pull one over on you, not in your life. In fact, people all want you to do great in life. That's their goal, is for you to make more money and to compete with them for power and fame and fortune. That's how the world works, I guess, for you if you're not really thinking. So anyway, we'll just let this play through a little bit. I think it's a good look at, is it playing at the right speed? Yep. So it's at 10 times as fast as real speed. So I mean, where do you even begin? Is this Tesla car is then in a spin? It's in a controlled, so it's in its own orbit. It's in its own spin. I guess I don't even get that. So it's spinning. What is keeping it spinning? Because there would have to be some sort of atmospheric drag on it or something. You can't just spin. How does it spin? What is it? Where's its RCS thrusters? What's thrusting it into a spin? So you're just saying you got up there and then it was. How did it start spinning? It was just part of where its orbit went. And if you haven't heard, we have to get into all the fun stuff that has come out today. If you thought this thing was going to Mars, you're gonna be sad. It didn't quite make it, even though that would take 4 months to get there. They already know. And the one part of the mission that I would actually say, okay, I guess I could believe that, would be the mathematics, right? If I get past the fact that they're launching this huge heavy thing up in the air, and I get past the fact that rockets can fly in space, which they can't, and I get past all that, and I say, okay, they're up there, they're in space, and then somebody says, now what they're going to do is they're going to calculate mathematically an orbit to where they're going to shoot it, they're going to fire that rocket, and it's going to enter into an orbit that will eventually get it to touch Mars. I would say, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that much. Okay, mathematically, yeah, sure, they could figure that out, and I'm sure it's not much to launch one little rocket thing, and okay, it goes there. Nope, that's the part that messed up. So getting the rocket to orbit, doing this little pirouette out above the Earth, all that went fine. That had no problem. But the mathematics part, the one where you just press a button and it launches off into an orbit to go to Mars, that part they screwed up on. It went too far, and it's going to miss, and it's going to end up in the asteroid belt and probably be destroyed by asteroids or something. It's such nonsense. I mean, I asked Elon Musk today on Twitter, where is the live feed of Rocket Man or fake spaceman today? What could possibly be their excuse? Why did you turn off the live feed? It's not because it's too far from Earth. There's the oblate spheroid. I was wondering where that was. Neil deGrasse was right. Pear-shaped. It just makes no sense at all. If it's in space and there's nothing blocking, then the signal is as strong as it is here, no matter how far they go. So why don't we see live views right now, flying through the solar system on its way out to the asteroid belt? Where are these live feeds? Where did they go? The other thing is, you notice that SpaceX didn't have the problem of getting the every 30-minute blue screen of death, which is a different one than I was getting. This is the NASA version, where they have to drop the broadcast because, they're switching cameras. I've talked many times about that, as if this was 1920s, where we have to switch cameras, and takes a lot of time. I don't know what that thing is. I just kept that in there because who knows what that is. And we'll go back and play that one more time just so you can see. It's one little scene that's in this whole thing, which is, oops, did I lose it? That. What is that? So anybody who knows what that is, please do tell, because I sure as hell don't know. But as I was saying, no matter where you were in space, if you're just sending a signal back to the Earth, then it should be easy. So there's no reason why they shouldn't have this live view camera on. Also, the ISS, which can't go 30 minutes, this thing it never had the blue screen. It had a black screen that would cut in and out for maybe 10 seconds, the ones that I cut out of this. But it certainly didn't have any connectivity problems so Tesla did in one day, or not Tesla, sorry, SpaceX. Now, what's this? All these things. Are these supposed to be stars? What are these things supposed to be? Does anybody know? What was happening at this point that is causing things to go flying off? Why do things fly off in space? Why are they going that direction? The car isn't being propelled upwards, so it wouldn't have things fly off it going upwards. If that makes any sense, everything that would fly off it would go in the same direction it was moving and continue that speed. Something has to propel something in space to, oh good, somebody keyed this. Ah, damn, never mind, sorry. It's just a reflection. Here goes more of these things flying off. It can't possibly be stars. Number one, it can't possibly be real. Number two, if you think it's real, whoa, you have gone into a place where I think is scary. That's a place where you have given other men the ability to control your mind and tell you what's real, what's not. What's fact, what's fiction. What is reality and what isn't. What is experience and what isn't. I mean, let's just pause this and think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is supposed to be water. Trillions of pounds of water. Now, somebody can go outside, and it doesn't matter how much you try, you're not going to get water to conform to this ball shape. And what is the reason that why do we even give them permission to tell us it's happening? Oh, because gravity pulls everything to the center. Yeah? Well, show me an example. Oh, that's right. You can't show me one. Science, repeatable, observable, testifiable, or testable, falsifiable. But when it comes to where you live, well, we kind of push some of those under the rug. We just sweep them under there. Don't pay attention to those things. Can't I just see something pull something to the center of a sphere? Nope, because it only happens on large-scale things. Doesn't even happen on little things. Just large-scale things. Things get pulled to the center of this ball. That gravity is so strong that it's holding all of this water. Yes, even the sideways water. Yes, even the water underneath. It's holding it all to the center because gravity is pulling it that hard. But you and I, we don't get crushed or anything. That would be weird. Nope, we do just fine. But the water, the trillions of pounds of water, they are held to the center of this ball. None of it spills out. I mean, imagine right now there's a cruise ship going along in this part of the water over here. Cruising along. There's a cruise ship over here going uphill and one over here going downhill. But they move the same speed because everybody's at the top of the ball. Let me explain something to you. It's called metaphysical. It's called nonsense. It's called fantasy land. It's not reality. You can't have a ball unless one person lives on it. If you have a ball, okay, great, I'll give you that. Sphere, one person lives on it. They live at the very top of the ball, and that's that. And no matter where they walk, they're always at the top because it's just their perspective. But as soon as you remember there's other people that live here, then all of a sudden you have a problem. Now we can't all live at the top of the ball. Now you can have men tell you that you do. That you can have easily. You can easily find men that will tell you that we all live at the top of the ball, which makes no sense. Because then they tell you also that when you look out at the ocean, there's a hump in front of you. Well, if I'm at the top of the ball, then there's no hump in front of me. Okay, I'm looking out. I'm parallel to the tangent. Therefore, there is no hump of water ever. But again, I digress. You can believe in magical spinning balls of water in space. I've heard people try to explain, well, the orbits, everything's moving around, gravity's keeping everything in orbit. If you removed yourself right now, if we all jumped in a little rocket and we blasted off to space and we went up to space and looked at the entire solar system, nothing would be moving. It'd all just be sitting there. The orbits they're talking about are extremely large scale, huge distances, huge amounts of time. So there's nothing. How are we just suspended in space? Think of how heavy the Earth would be. Think of how much mass the Earth is. So how is it being held in space? Because the gravity of the sun doesn't work. It seriously has so many problems. You have to have completely given away your mind to believe it. And I know we all did. I grew up the same way as you did. When they sit you in a desk at the age of 6 and tell you things, we all looked at the teacher like, what? What do you mean we're on a ball? What do you mean gravity's? But because you don't have an option, and you'll get laughed at if you don't believe it. Now, see, what is this? What's going on here? Can't be stars. What is propelling things out into space? They can't take off at a certain speed on their own. So if somebody can tell me what that is, I would greatly appreciate it, because I certainly don't know. And I'm not trying to know. Let's see here. So I wanted to talk about the other thing is the middle barge, right? Let me get back to the fact that SpaceX can do what NASA never could do, which is provide a never-ending feed in space. If you haven't known, or if you don't know, there is no 24/7 view of the Earth from space, even though we've given $5 trillion to NASA. They get $52 million a day, yet they can't provide us. And by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, who pays every NASA salary? Give you that question. Let me ask another one. Who pays for every NASA rocket? Okay, who pays for every NASA satellite? Okay, let's think of something else. Who pays for all the buildings out at Kennedy? Okay. Who paid for landing pad 1A? Who paid for launching pad 39? Who paid for you should get the picture here. We did. We paid for every bit of it. And yet, we can't be provided with a live stream of the Earth from space. That is ridiculous. And people all say, they have a live feed. You're lying. You're doing this for money. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Let's go over and take a look, so we can just prove that to you before people lose their friggin' minds, because they think that happens when it doesn't. So we will transition over here. Which one is this? Let me see. Am I on the right page here? That I don't know. Let me go back over here. Let's see here. We got to go with the Ustream. They've got 2 feeds. We'll go Ustream ISS. Let me see if I'm on the right thing, though. No, I'm on the wrong one. Let's switch it. This one. Oh, bless it. 1 second. I got to copy this over here. I got 2 browser windows open, and it's the wrong one. Of course. Ustream, live stream. Okay, this one. We're going to grab this one. Oh, quiet down. I don't want to hear that. Okay, and let me punch this in over on the other one. And, oops. Now I really don't know which one we're on. No, not that one. So this one. That you should see now. Let me make sure. And we will continue. All right, good. So this is the, which one is this? The live stream, just the regular one. You can also go over here to where it says other channels, and then you can pick up the HD stream. Here we go. And I've tried betting people before. No one ever took me up on the bet. As I said, you can have everything over an hour. I'll get everything under an hour. And if it plays live stream for longer than an hour, you win the bet. If it doesn't, I win the bet. No one's ever taken it because, of course, they know that any stretch of video from the live stream of the Earth, so we'll say this one particularly, you'll see here down here it starts at 0. So I'm just going to kind of, let's go ahead 5 minutes at a time and see. That's 5 minutes. That's 10 minutes. That's 15 minutes. 16 minutes. That's 20. Hey, so far they're winning. 25 minutes. 30 minutes. Oh, 35 minutes. 40. Now, here's my prediction. Even if it does get to an hour, we'll go back and we actually missed the blue screen. There we go. 45 minutes. And the stream has ended. 50 minutes, still black. 55 minutes, still black. 60 minutes, still black. 112, still black. 130, still black. 150. All right, it's back. And you could just go through and you'll see that every about 30 minutes they cut out. Usually you'll see this screen, which is always funny because it's just a slap in the face, the one that says we'll be back. We're currently switching cameras, or we've lost connection with the Earth. There goes your black screen. There's your screen. The high definition Earth viewing experiment is either switching cameras or we're experiencing a temporary loss of signal with the International Space Station. So, and they can do great post-production videos of night, but all you're going to get is black or a blue screen. You can see here. Now, you can take your automatic camera, you can take your iPhone, go outside tonight, or when it's daytime and it's going to be coming, the sun's setting, and your camera will take pictures of the sunset and then will adjust and take pictures of the stars. So will your P900. So will your Canon Coolpix, whatever, Nikon Coolpix. So will a basic digital camera. We'll be able to auto-adjust, autofocus, and pick up stars when earlier it picked up daytime. So we're to believe that NASA is so incompetent that things that people could do with cameras that cost $50 10 years ago, 20 years ago, NASA hasn't quite figured out yet. Man, it's going to be tough. But what they can do is they can, at nighttime, pick up great video if you go to just ISS night. And you can see some great pictures of the Earth. Like this. You can see this all you want. This is a great picture. Look at this video. How pretty is that? Oh, is it going to come up here? I got to press play. There we go. Beautiful music too. Oh yeah. Let's get that over here. Yep. These images, these are real, but they just, you got to wait a couple days. It's hard to get this live. But they can get these beautiful pictures. Like, oh, look how beautiful this is. But let's go back and just see one more time what it looked like live. Oh, I see. I already have Flash Player. Knock it off. What is this thing doing? I have Flash Player. Knock it off. All right. So what is going on? How could it do it the first time? No, not do it. Let's go. Move along. So like I said, you can go to this feed or the other feed. And now somebody might ask me, well, Jaron, what are you saying? This is fake? And to be completely honest, I don't necessarily think that. I think that the curvature of the Earth is fake. I think that they are clearly using fisheye lenses. And they also, people just don't understand what a viewing circle is. If you think of a viewing circle or think of a hula hoop, place a hula hoop around your head and then get your eyes just a little bit above the hula hoop and look out at the edge of it, and you will see a curved edge. Does that mean that the hula hoop is a ball? No. It means you're looking at the curved edge of the flat hula hoop, which is basically what we see when we look at like Dwayne Kellum's footage. You're getting above the Earth and you're seeing as far as you can see in every direction. Now, people say again, oh, that curvature proves the curvature of the Earth. And this is something, if you've noticed, even astronauts don't say the Earth is a sphere anymore. They don't say that. When they're questioned, what do they say every time? Round. The Earth is round. Oh, we looked at the curve of the Earth. It's round. Okay, well, flat earthers believe that, whether you know that or not. We also believe that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing a ball. When you talk about a sphere in space, you've been lied to. Doesn't exist, can't exist. It's silly, and it's childish. To think that this is a ball. This is a ball? I mean, so you're saying the buildings that would be standing up here, which makes sense to us. We've all flown in a plane. Okay, yeah, great. We fly by, there goes Denver or whatever. But then to think that the buildings go over an edge, they go over that edge and start being perpendicular, and then they go further and they're upside down, well, that's childish. It's a belief. It's a storybook belief. It's a fantasy world. It's works in cartoons and video games. but not in reality. It doesn't work in reality. So let's go to the other channel real quick, and that was this one, ISS live stream. And this is the other view, and this one also gets your every 30 minutes interruption, either one of these colored screens that says Johnson TV, or you'll get the blue screen. Oh, you know what I bet this is? This is going to be hilarious. I'm almost I wouldn't be surprised if this is during the SpaceX part. Because they might see the Tesla car. Unbelievable. Look at this. I bet you that's what they did. I wonder if somebody checked the time of this. This is probably during the whole period of time where Tesla's car was up there. And it just so happens, man, it just happened to be the time where the TV went down for NASA. But nobody will question that. You're an idiot if you think that space is fake. You're an idiot if you think that they're lying about these rockets. If you think that Tesla is not really sending his roadster to Mars, you're an idiot. Yep. But you're an idiot if you think that this happened to be anything to do with Tesla, Elon Musk and SpaceX. If you think this had anything to do with them, the fact that it's just down randomly for 6 hours, I never see that. Let's go look at all this footage. Has there ever been a 6 hours that the ISS has been down? Even this with the blue screen, you're still going to find portions of time when it's up. Let's see. 32. Are you guys doing this more often? 1 hour? Oh, they even went. When was this? How far along am I here? Monday. Monday looks like they also were down for. They usually don't do that. So they're even worse than I thought. I mean. Oh, no, they're back. So it wasn't. They're not down. It's just one of the prolonged blue screens. Let's see this one. No. So yeah, so they weren't down as long as they were here. Now here, it looks like this was actually down for the entire time. I haven't seen any video yet. Let's see if I'm wrong about that. That's at 30 minutes. That's at 60. That's at 90. Yeah. So I'll have to. I don't want to do the math now or figure it out, but if we're looking 18 to 21 hours ago, this is Tuesday 8:49. 8:50. Seems like it would have been earlier than this, but I'll have to check on that and see if it has anything to do. Because during this time slot here, which is 6 hours, 15 hours ago, then 18, then 21. So yeah, 6 hours total that it was down, and that doesn't even count when it went down here. It probably went down somewhere near the. Oh, let's see when this one went down. Maybe it was even longer. It could have been 9 hours. I mean, yeah, no, this is up. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so that puts it at about 2.5, and then 2. So it looks like it was down for 7 hours yesterday. So I'm just writing this down for myself so I can check that out. What 7 hours it was down. But anyway, yes, the middle barge, as I said, missed and ended up in the water. Some ridiculous story now that it landed 300 feet away from the barge, but the shrapnel took out the cameras and took out 2 of the engines on the barge. Yep. And when they want to have helicopters out there filming the landing of the rocket onto the barge, they have helicopters. You can go see the footage. Oh, there it is. We got the helicopter or the drone. Something is filming it from the air, and we see everything land, and there it is. But when this particular thing happens, now there was no helicopter. Sorry, we forgot that one thing this time. We didn't know that you can actually take drones up and film things in the ocean. We didn't know, so you just get stuck with nothing. That's the way it goes. So, yeah, the shrapnel attacked the boat and destroyed it. And again, we get the report that what happened? Oh, the camera didn't show it because it was shaking too much. So get this now, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you allow them to tell you. That we put cameras on rockets. And those are shot up into the sky, shaking like crazy, so much that people 10 miles away can feel it in their bones and can hear it. Sonic booms and that's no problem for the cameras on the rocket. But the rocket landing back on the barge? Oh, sorry, our cameras can't do that. That's a little too much. But the cameras on the rockets, they're just fine. They can shake all they want. We have no problem with those. But the ones on the barge, man, that barge shakes really hard when those rockets come down. So hard that we just lose the feed. It's a rough life. Must be nice to have everything that you want to go wrong when you need it to go wrong, and everything that you want to go right when you want it to go right. Must be fun. So yeah, that whole shaking thing is just ridiculous. I talked to you about the fake spaceman missing his Mars orbit. I'm actually trying to see if so it was about the same one. Let's go back to our picture here of Spaceman. Where is he? There he is. All right, and I didn't keep playing it just so we didn't miss anything on Spaceman time. There we go. So we talked about him missing his Mars orbit, so now he's just going to go out to the asteroid belt. The way that Elon Musk tweeted it is ridiculous. He makes it sound like it's already been there. I looked at all the comments. We'll look at those in a second, but everybody was saying the same thing, like, dude, what are you saying, that it already got to Mars? Because he said it missed Mars orbit and is now going towards the asteroid belt. Just was said incorrectly. And that's ridiculous. If you watched the, I don't know if anybody had a chance to, I'll bring that up real quick, actually. I'm going to pause that for a second and try and bring up, if I can, the press conference with Elon Musk. Did you guys hear that one? He had the quote of the year so far. It's going to be a tough one to beat. I don't know if anybody will actually be able to beat his quote. Let's find it here. Where is it? It would be in this one. All right, so we've got to find Elon Musk celebrates. Yes, this one. Here it is. So I'll bring this up 1 second. I have to add it to my list. There we go.
You're welcome.
All right. We're going to skip ahead a little bit here. And let's hear what he's got to say.
Wheel bouncing down the road. And like the Tesla logo landing somewhere with a thud. Seems surreal to me.
I just want you to, before we listen to him here, I don't claim to be smart. I don't claim to be smart. I don't think I'm smart. But I will tell you that when I am smarter than the head of Tesla, when I am smarter than astronauts, when I'm smarter than the head of SpaceX, there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. This man, I used to think he was part of the deception. Now I realize he's part of the deceived. He is being deceived. He is the front man. He is the setup man. He's going to take the fall. He's the face of space. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get that they're fooling him right underneath his nose. Let's listen to him tell us, since he's the CEO of this company.
I'm still trying to absorb everything that happened because it seems surreal to me.
So it seems surreal to the CEO? Aren't you in charge of everything? Pretty sure you can't go to the head of Ford Motor Trucks and say, how do you feel about the new car coming out? Wow, it feels really surreal. It feels surreal to me. It feels surreal that you built cars? You're the CEO.
I had this image of just a giant explosion on the pad with, a wheel bouncing down the road and like the Tesla logo landing somewhere with a thud.
Okay.
But fortunately, that's not what happened. The mission seems to have gone really as well as one could have hoped, with the exception of the center core. The two side boosters, if you guys were here, you saw them land. That was epic. I think that's probably
Very
the most
epic.
exciting thing I've ever seen, literally, ever. And then the center core obviously didn't land on the drone ship, or we would have shown that. I mean, we're looking at the issue, but I think it didn't have enough propellant to relight the.
This makes no sense at
all
all.
Three engines. Sorry, enough for something called TTAB, triethyl aluminum triethyl boron, that's used to light the engines. So it, I believe that the center one lit, I believe, and the outer two did not.
The center one lit and the outer two did not?
And that was
Don't you mean the other way around?
to slow the stage down.
That was not enough to, okay.
Apparently it hit the water at 300 miles an hour and took out two of the engines on the drone ship. So if we got the footage, like that sounds like some pretty fun footage. So if the cameras didn't get blown up as well, then we'll put that out for just the blooper reel.
Okay, his quote's coming up here.
That's near the we weren't going to reuse that center core anyway, or the two side boosters. The side boosters we'll figure out some place to put them, but
Skipping
we weren't
ahead a little
planning on
bit.
reusing any of the cores. The upper stage seems to have worked perfectly so far. The two burns were executed correctly.
Okay, here comes quote of 2008.
And now we'll see if the upper stage avionics survive quite an arduous trip through the Van Allen belts. Normally, the
Sorry,
stage
not
will
this.
pass very quickly through the Van Allen belts. Here, it's essentially dwelling there for several hours. And then it's going to do a restart, deplete its propellant, and go to transmos injection. And the propellant levels all look good. The propellant, after the second burn of the upper stage, we were only 0.3 sigma away from predictions, so which is basically very minor, away from prediction. The fuel doesn't freeze, and the oxygen doesn't boil off, and the electronics don't get fried. So those are the issues. We'll find out in a few hours if that burn is successful. I don't think if there's anything else I know that's worth mentioning. I went out to the landing zone, took a look at the side boosters. So they're both reflyable, although as I said, they're combination at this point. That launches shortly, and that'll be our mainstay. We'll stick to version. All right, any questions that I haven't answered? I'll do my best to answer them, but I'm not sure if I have the information yet, but I'll try.
So we're going to start in the room, and the first question goes to David Curley from ABC News.
Elon, spectacular. What did you learn? What did Falcon Heavy teach you?
Taught me like crazy things can come true.
Crazy things can come true.
Because he'd said like I didn't really think this would work.
I didn't really think this would work.
Because when I see the rocket lift off, I see like 1,000 things that could not work, and it's amazing when they do. And I was really seeing the two boosters land synchronized, really just like the simulation.
Just like the simulation.
I mean, it makes me think like that could be quite a scalable approach. You know, you could imagine large numbers of those just coming in, landing, taking off, landing, doing.
We'll talk about that next.
Many flights per day. So I think it gives me a lot of faith for our next architecture, the sort of the interplanetary spaceship. You can have different names for it, but BFR is kind of the code name. And it gives me confidence that BFR is really quite workable. I was actually looking at the side boosters and like they're pretty.
You should know what BFR stands for. Big effing rocket.
Big, you know, 16 stories tall, 60-foot leg span. But we need to be way bigger than that. So I think it's given me a lot of confidence that we can make the BFR design work. Yeah. It's. I have tremendous confidence, obviously, in the SpaceX team. So. I think we can really do this a lot.
We can do this a lot,
and keep advancing the technology to achieve full and rapid reusability. Which would have a profound effect on the future. And one of the interesting things about, say, Falcon Heavy versus Falcon 9 is that Falcon Heavy has the same level of expendability, the price of, even though it's got 3 times as much capability, because of the boosters.
Shadon at Associated Press.
Marcia AP. What was going through your mind? How amazed were you to see your roadster up there with Starman just cruising along with the Blue Planet? And how long will we be getting live views, do you think, from the car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible.
With Starman just cruising along with the
This is what I was talking about. Quote of 2008.
Blue Planet. And how long will we be getting live views, do you think, from the car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake. And, you know, the colors all look kind of weird in space. There's no atmospheric occlusion.
That is really classic. One more time, just for good times.
Honestly.
With Starman, how long will we be getting live
too
views,
good.
do you
Too
think,
good
from
of a
the
quote.
car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake.
Yep, and that's proof, I guess. Yeah, that is hilarious. I don't know what else to say. We'll continue on with Spaceman here. Just so you know about Elon Musk, everyone thinks he's the greatest, and he's got Tesla and everything. I don't know how much you guys have done research into Tesla as a company, but look at this. What is going on? Holy smokes. Looks like a bunch of moons, really. I don't know. Watch out, the Earth's going to hit all those things. Oh, man. Oh, no, that's right. They burn up in the atmosphere. Never mind. Forgot that you got the magic of burning things in the atmosphere. It's pretty nice. So Tesla in the fourth quarter last year, posted $671 million losses. Okay, this great company, did $3 billion in sales, but lost $671 million. The quarter before that, they lost $401 million, even doing better sales. So, you know, it must be nice. Do more sales, and lose more money. It's a joke. And just like we bailed out GM, right? I mean, we as a tax-paying public bailed out GM. And currently, GM is valued at less than Tesla, okay? Tesla in 2016 sold fewer than 80,000 cars, okay? And the company that they are ahead of, like GM, sold 80,000 Chevy Silverados every 8 weeks. So one type of car for Chevy, they could sell as many as Tesla could sell in the whole year. They sold every 8 weeks, and that's just one of their many cars. The fact that they're worth more than Ford, and I mean, give me a break. Oh, watch out, Earth's going to hit you. It's getting too close. I mean, that looks so bad. I got to rewind that a little bit. That is just ridiculous. Let's watch from here. Okay, so you got flying pellets of whatever's propelling them. I have no idea. They'd magically just take off in all directions and fly around space. Space debris. Better not hit the ISS. They'll be going about 50,000 miles. Now, here we go. Look at this Earth coming close here. Getting close. Oh, I think the next time around it's even closer. That's going to come back around. Let's see here. Here it comes. Yes, and everyone said, oh, the shadows there must be real. As if somebody with $52 million a day couldn't build a big warehouse, put a car in it, and put this screen going around it with the Earth that would have the shadow played on the car, or the reflection on the car. Be simple. It would cost somebody $1 million. Maybe $2 million. Yeah, this one here. How close is the Earth here? I mean, what is going on? This is just ridiculous. How anybody... Now the Terminator line's moving. Mm-hmm. Those places that were night became day. Let's see that again here. So just watch your Terminator line here. Oh, now it's getting dark over there. Now we go back to daytime. There you go. Up, more daytime, more daytime. Sun's rising there, I guess. More pellets flying around. I obviously missed some black screens. Thank you for noticing. I mean, what the hell are these things supposed to be? What a total joke. Anyway, Ford is worth less than Tesla's company, and that is a joke. I mean, when you look at the amount of cars that... Are these supposed to be stars? I guess I'm going to check the chat here towards the end. I was going to check. Please let me know if they're supposed to be stars. I cannot picture what they're supposed to be. Or is someone just going to say, oh, those are ice chunks, you idiot. Must be nice just to say whatever you want. And, yeah, I can't tell you what they could be. Don't know. They're still flying around, though. I see them there. Oh, oh. And now they're stationary. See that? That was great. Flying around, we go back there. One little click. There. Yeah, that thing's showing, and they're just stationary there. I mean, don't tell me those are supposed to be stars. Please don't tell me that. Oh, what a joke. I mean, you can even see parallax with them. It can't be stars. It has to be something else. I don't know what, though. What is that supposed to be? I don't know. This is great, too, when it's dark, because when you see the Earth like go behind him, it stays dark in the front of the car. But if the Earth is bright, then wouldn't you see the sun? Oh, so these are lights on Earth? Oh, can't be, because now I see them. Yeah, who knows? This is so fake. It's just, it's sad. It's sad that, look at this is a regular camera. See this thing going by? It's a regular camera. It's just a regular Nikon Coolpix on a stand. I mean, that's what we put in space now. No problem with the sun rays or anything. It's just it'll be just fine, because Elon will believe it, and if Elon believes it, everybody believes it. Let's see here. Let's get back to this one. Coming through here. Yeah, there we go. More swinging Earth. It's very fun, and more swinging sun coming along. So anyway, yeah, you got companies that should just be worth so much more than Tesla's worth, and yet people for some reason think Tesla's company should be worth more. That's the moon. Goodbye, moon. Go away, moon. I mean, for every car that Tesla sells, they get up to 200,000. So they only get up to 200,000. Now they've never sold that many cars, so it doesn't matter yet. But for every car they sell, they get for free $7,500 from the government. Now people might say, "Oh, good, the government's giving you money." Well, no, we have to remember where the government gets money. That's from us. So for every car that he sells, we give him $7,500. Colorado add an additional $5,000. California add an additional $2,500. And this is how they offset the price. So they're charging less than it even costs to make the car, so that they can get sales. People are buying it for whatever, $30,000, $40,000, how much those are. And then they get these kickbacks. And then also they get environmental credits, hundreds of millions of dollars, Tesla does, in environmental credits from other automobile companies who can't meet they've put rules and regulations on the automobile companies about how many emissions they can have. So they'll have like these emission sales mandates where you can't have zero emission, you have to have zero emission. Well, because these other companies can't do it, so Chevy or Ford, these people can't do it because they still are making cars that have heavy emissions. So Tesla gets to sell their environmental credits. So they sell them, which allows these companies then to go and create cars with emissions, which just damage the atmosphere, just damage the Earth. And that's how they even make more money, which is even more ridiculous because people think, oh, it's an electric car, it's good for the environment. No, it's not. Think of how they make batteries. They're lithium-ion batteries. Look up how those are made. And you have to use fossil fuels for that. Then on top of that, you have to charge these things with electricity. So how do you think electricity is made? Not how do we know it's made, but I'm saying how do we make it now? Well, they make it at power plants. They make it with coal. They make it with other fossil fuels that are just doing more and more damage. Now, what is this supposed to be here? Is that supposed to be Australia? Let me look it up from a little back further here. If this is supposed to be Australia, then what is over here? Nothing? Nothing at all? Alrighty then. And I know if I had Google Earth pulled up, I would pull up, you can get the distance away that you would have to be to see that. And I don't think this Tesla Roadster is that distance. Anyway, like I said, you've got also you got the taxpayer subsidies, and they're basically nothing more than welfare for the rich. That's what we're doing. 90% of the electric car subsidies go to the top 20% of households. So you're talking about the households that make the absolute most money are getting the credits for buying these fancy cars that is causing a company to lose $617 million a quarter, and it's not a profitable company, and yet people think this guy is God. He's a snake oil salesman, and like I said, I used to think he was just part of the deception, and now I'm starting to think he's just deceived. He just is not smart enough to realize what they're doing. I've got that video on my channel. Maybe I can go show that real quick, because I do think that that's important. Let me look it up real quick. You've got Elon Musk admitting that he has given backroom access to a bunch of government officials. Oh, nice. I see somebody made a video that says, Jeranism jealous of Elon Musk. Yeah, that's it. How did you know? I want to be Elon Musk. Man, I want to be Elon Musk. Can't I be him? Guess the answer is no. I cannot be him, so I'm going to just be so jealous, I'm going to make videos against him. This is what I do. Just like Joe Rogan said, I'm a flat earther because I want to have a leg up on everybody. I want to know something that you don't know, so I make videos telling the world that the Earth's flat, because that's how you keep secrets, is you get on YouTube and you tell the world. That's how you do it, and that's because I want to be smarter than everybody, so I know something you don't know. Let's switch this so you can see this screen. Where are we at here? No, that's the wrong one. Why am I on the wrong screen again? Okay, I'm going to close this time so I don't do that again. Safe? Yes. And this one. All right, here we go. So let's just listen to Elon real quick here. And transition. Here we go. Hopefully this person whose video this is won't copyright strike me.
Ignition sequence start.
It's a joke. All right, so let's listen carefully here.
Under our ELV certification agreement, we're undertaking vigorous engineering reviews with the Air Force. To date, we've delivered more than 30,000 data items to the Air Force and provided total access to our internal systems to more than 300 government officials for certification. And we hope to complete that certification this year.
Again, this so-called private company.
Under our ELV certification agreement, we're undertaking vigorous engineering reviews with the Air Force. To date, we've delivered more than 30,000 data items to the Air Force and provided total access to our internal systems to more than 300 government officials for certification. And we hope to complete that certification this year.
So at this point, you can no longer call them independent. You can no longer call them private. They are in bed with the United States government. They have given over 300 government officials full access, total access to our internal systems. So they could have changed anything. They could have adjusted anything that they wanted, and they could be running the show from behind the curtain. And Mr. Elon would not know. I'll tell you that much right now. Let's flip back to fake spaceman in fake space, looking at fake Earth for the fake time. Let's go back there. There we go. And we'll keep watching this as I continue. So anyway, he is a snake oil salesman. The company is a joke. It also operates completely on funding from our government, which, again, who funds the government? Who pays their salaries? Who pays their budgets? That would be you and I, and you and him and I. So, what else? Where was I going on this one? Snake oil salesman. I remember I talked about that. Racking my brain. I don't remember what else I was going to say about this. Well, I was going to show the Twitter. I want to show you that just to show you what he talked about earlier, and I want to show his Instagram. Now, again, he may just be dumb, but I just tend to think that he's now starting to show his colors as being possibly just so dumb he doesn't notice. There's the big pair. So let me show you those things. Let's let this video finish here before I jump back again. It's just more of the same, really, too. It's just going to keep having this fake ball Earth. I cannot believe that there's people that believe this. It's at the point now, though, that as much as I don't believe it, I don't care. Like, it just does me no good to keep trying to convince people that this is fake. If they can't look at this and say, I don't live there. I mean, you'll notice they never show the United States. They're really good at always showing Australia. I don't know if they give those people less credit or something, but they love to show that little land there. And do the people in Australia, do they actually think that they are living on this as this thing is going by here? We are on this Earth. We're on that ball go by there. Give me a break. Why would we allow people to simply say things and we believe it? Let's look at it this way. I've talked about this before, but you came into this world with senses, right? You have your sense of touch and taste and smell, and we know our senses, and they save you in every situation. I mean, they keep you alive every day. We may not realize it, But when you cross the street, you use your senses to learn when there's no cars coming. You look both ways. You listen. No cars. Let's go. Get across the street. If it wasn't for your senses, you'd head out there. You'd get nailed. Good night, Irene. You wouldn't make it very far. Even somebody like Tommy that I showed earlier, somebody who's blind, still depends on his other senses so that he can cross the street without getting hit by a car. If you had none of your senses, you just get obliterated. Gone. You have no chance. So our senses work whenever we need them to. Now, if someone were to place a bowling ball, you know how, I don't know if you've ever seen that trick where you open somebody's bedroom door just a little bit and you put the little cup of water on the top and lean it against the frame. And when somebody walks in, the cup of water pours on their head and it's hilarious for everyone. Now, is that because your senses failed you? Did your senses fail you when that water poured on your head? Or did somebody trick you? No, somebody tricked your senses because your senses told you, I go into this door all the time. I'm going to just walk in here. Usually I don't need to look above the door to get in, so I just walk in. Oh, I got tricked. I got wet because somebody put a cup of water on top. So it's the same thing. Or let's say somebody had a car that made no noise and was invisible. And then you went to cross the street and boom, you got hit by the invisible, no-sounding car. Oh my goodness, your senses failed you. No, you didn't. Your senses didn't fail you. You were tricked by the no-sounding car. The no can see and no can hear car. So that's when your senses fail you. I'm sorry, that's when somebody has fooled your senses by some sort of trick, right? Okay, so that's what they're doing with what they tell you your senses don't work on. It's the same thing. When they say, see that sun up there? Looks small, doesn't it? Yep. Looks close, doesn't it? Yep. It's really big. It's 1 million times the size of the Earth, and it's 93 million miles away. Well, your senses didn't fail you. You were tricked. Same thing with the stars. The stars, they look right there. Yeah, they look right there. They look like they're just right up there in the sky. Nope. 25 trillion miles. That's a 25,000,000,000,000,000 miles away. And you just didn't know because your senses played tricks on you. Your senses just didn't work this time. Sorry, that's another trick. Your senses do work. They tell you exactly where the stars are. And they tell you exactly how big the sun is. And they tell you exactly how far away it is. And we've just allowed people to come along and say, no, 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 no. No, it's not what your senses tell you. Nope, you're spinning on a ball. But I don't feel it. Yeah, well, you don't feel it because the atmosphere is moving with it. Oh. And you're flying around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. Really? I don't feel that either. Well, of course you don't feel it because it's well, you've been doing it your whole life. You wouldn't know. You don't know the difference. Oh, okay. And we're also going with the sun 480,000 miles per hour. Well, I don't feel that either. Well, of course you wouldn't. These are tricks. They're tricking you. I don't know why. It's not my job to answer the question why. I don't know why. Can't tell you why. I can't imagine why. But that doesn't mean to say, well, I can't imagine why they'd be tricking me, so they must not be tricking me. No, not the way it works. I can't imagine why they're tricking me, but they're tricking me. So that's not the Earth. That is not the Earth going by there. That you don't live on there. And the water is not attached to the ball. And flying through outer space, which is endless, which just makes no sense at all, because of gravity, because somebody in the 1700s said so. Okay, that's not, shouldn't be enough for you. It isn't enough for me. Carl Sagan, I believe, was the one who said originally, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So you live on a ball because balls inherently happen because matter collapses on itself and pulls to the center, and people can then live on that ball, and they are also pulled to the center, but not with the same force that the water is, because the water needs to be held many, trillions of pounds. You are only 200 pounds. It knows the difference. Those are extraordinary claims, and they require extraordinary evidence. And I don't mean putting a fake picture of a car and a stupid little circle Earth going around you. That's not extraordinary evidence. That's a joke. That's comedy. This is funny. That's what this is. This is funny going by here. That should make you laugh. And you should laugh in the people's faces who tell you that that's real. This water, that's real? That's the oceans. You're kidding, right? Get the hell out of here. You're talking nonsense. Jeez, where'd you get those drugs? I want some of those. Those are good. That's how we should treat people who tell us that ball Earth is where you live. When you're cruising on a cruise ship, remember that you're upside down on that ball and could fall off at any moment. But think of all the ways that they've projected things like flat Earth, that's so funny. You'd fall off the edge. Yeah, but you don't fall off a ball. We just stay attached to it, but we'd fall off the edge of the flat Earth. Good one. Who taught you that, huh? Did you learn that in school? Good for you. You just need to think about these things and really contemplate. I mean, we know that water needs a basin. Go take water and just throw it somewhere and see what happens to it. It will splash and make a mess all over. But if you put it into a nice little container, then the container holds the water. Hey, what happened?
And you know, the colors all look kind of weird in space.
Oh, I think our Tesla video ended. That's what happened. So yes, let's go to the. I'm going to go to the actual launch here if I can find it in my screen. Where is it? 1 second. I did have it on here. I thought maybe I need to add it again. I don't see it. Oh, we could listen to this real quick. Speaking of me saying that I'm smarter than astronauts and smarter than Elon Musk, let's listen to these folks. Let's see here. Is this the right one? I think it's the right one, but it's later. These are, remember, NASA says they pick one astronaut out of 4,000 applicants. 1 out of 4,000. I think this is the right video. Let me check my other video.
Yes, we hear you loud and clear, and welcome to the station. How do you hear us?
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much for your invitation. And hello again to Mr. Tingle. Just a month ago we spoke with him, yet on the Earth, and now it's from the orbit. So, first of all,
hello again. It's great to be speaking with you.
Whoa, forgot about the delay.
My first question is about the holiday itself. How actually did the crew celebrate the New Year and Christmas? Because I know that you are tied to a particular Greenwich time, but someone mentioned that you did it many times on the orbit.
There it is. Sorry. We'll come back to that. I wanted to find the flight from yesterday just so we can show you a couple things. And I guess I'll have to do a video to show you what I mean by my editor, because I'm not sure this will show it. But what I was able to find is that they offset the images. Let me show you here. Show you what I'm talking about. All right, well, I'll just let it launch first so we can see that. Get up here further. And again, I'm not somebody who says that they're not launching. I think that there's a chance that they're just launching this out to the water. I also think there's a chance that it's just filled with helium. I also think there's a chance it could be a projection. A lot of things possible other than the fact that it's real. And I'll explain why that is, especially the landing part, and plus the flying into space part. I mean, that's just not happening. These things level off. They go horizontal. Of course, they've got a story for you that, it helps us we get an extra 1,000 miles per hour in the going. That's why we launch towards the equator. But then they launch from Vandenberg going north-south. They don't launch east because that would go over the land. So they say, no, there we go north. South Pole, we don't need the extra 1,000 miles per hour there. Yeah, whatever you say. And I'm sure people are just going 17,000 miles per hour with no issues at all. Even 60-year-old ladies putting up with all those G's. By the way, all that crowd cheering you hear, it sounds like very exciting, right? So many people cheering. Yeah, it's like a baseball game. Everyone's so excited. Those people all work for SpaceX. Okay, I've looked into it. I wanted to go down there and watch one of these things from that little... You can't go down there. You're not allowed to. You have to work there or be invited by an employee to get into that building where you hear all those people acting like jackasses. So there was the launch, and then it goes up and, of course, levels off to horizontal. Okay, now, from this view here, just to kind of give you a little heads up of what we're looking at here, this is supposed to be, which is the reason they have two of them, and you'll even hear I'll show you when the announcer kid says, those are the two views from the two different rockets. They look the same, but they're two different views. They're not, and I'll show you that shortly. They are the same feed, and this is the middle rocket looking at the other two drop off. Okay, so now people may have saw yesterday, I was pausing this. Get up a little bit further. and I was showing that at first I said, well, it kind of does look similar, but then it looks different. It's because they're one frame off. It might be tough for me to show. Let me see if I slow it down. Sorry, I'm going to turn the volume off. Let's get over to where they get the other view. Come on. Okay, so this view here. Or this one. Come on. Sorry. Trying to figure out where this is. Okay, right here. Okay, so if you notice these flames down here, like here, they're different, right? So people say, no, they're not the same camera. But what it is it's a frame different. Meaning, see, I can do it in my editor, but I don't know if I can do it here. I'm trying to hit play. Okay, so like that picture is the same, okay? But the one on the right is going to frame progress one further than the next. So now they're off. But the next frame, if I can pause it and play it in time, would be equal. They're the same. Then I go one more frame, and they're the same. It's one off, so it's kind of hard to do. I can't really play them both at one at a time. So that's the same picture. Then sometimes that one's one off. So if I can play pause, then it will catch up. See there, it's caught up. Now they're the same. So we'll play it again. Now they're off. That's different, but on the next frame, they're the same. So it's the same video. It's just offset by a frame so that it's not identical. So to me, when somebody says, oh, they accidentally, no, they didn't. They did this on purpose. They are purposefully trying to fool you by making the frames offset by just one so that they don't look the same when you just pause it. If you just pause the video on YouTube, it will half the time look the same, half the time not, at which point somebody says, well, it can't be the same because they're not, it's half the time it's not the same. Well, no, not when it's offset by one frame. So if I just let it play and press pause, we could get lucky. Now there we didn't, right? It's not the same. So somebody would say, those aren't the same video. But if I pause real quick, now they're the same. Okay? So they're offset by a frame, which is done purposefully. There's no way that they're bringing in, let's say they accidentally did it like they said. How would you accidentally bring in two different videos of the same feed and be a frame off in one of them? Then it's not the video. It's not the same feed. It can't be. So this is done by deception on purpose. Even the announcers, like I said, and I'll get up to where they talk about it, and hopefully you understood what I'm saying there. You could, if you have an editor, basically you can zoom in on a video enough to where you're moving frame by frame, and then you can see what's happening is that it's a frame off. Might be a half a frame, or might be like, I'm not really sure how to tell what it is, but if you just press play and pause on these, you'll notice like that one's off, right? They're not the same, but if I get the play in enough, now they're the same. And maybe you can't see me clicking because you can't see my play button. But what I'm doing is I'm pressing play now, and now I'm going to pause in a second. So pause. Okay, so that's the same. So now I'm going to press play again and press pause, and that looks also the same. So play, pause, that looks the same. Now I'm just getting lucky. Pause, same, pause, same, pause. Okay, so when it's different like that, now I've paused it and they're different. All I need to do is just advance one frame. So play, pause. There it is. It's the same. So these are identical feeds. They're telling you that it's two different feeds, two different rockets. I can't stand when you're doing that.
And the trajectory looks good on the Falcon Heavy.
Okay, there we go. Turn that down. So I'm waiting for these guys to tell you that they look like they're different, but they're the same. So we're listening
and
now.
The two bottom screens, you've got the side booster towards
so listen here.
Continuing its burn. On the upper left, you have the center core headed back towards the autonomous spaceport drone ship. And the two bottom screens, you've got the side boosters headed back towards Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, landing zones 1 and 2.
So he said those are the two side rockets. I thought he says the same.
The next step coming up for the side boosters and the center booster is the re-entry burn.
Look how they even offset the video. The video here has, look at the amount of space between the little triangle here and the wall, and look over here. So they've done this on purpose. The video had to be cut. It had to be trimmed. It had to be cropped. So these people are intentionally fooling you, and yet people will believe it. I mean, Red's Rhetoric would never question this. Oh, what do you, yeah, they cropped it to fit it. You know, I mean, this is the kind of nonsense these people will just put up with. They don't care. They're not looking for the truth. Believe me, it's the last thing they want.
That's going to slow it down from or slow all the boosters down from way faster than the speed of sound to just faster than the speed of sound in order to reduce some of those aerodynamic forces and heating that occurs when you're moving that quickly through the atmosphere.
It's another thing, so we're going to talk about that. Think of how fast these things are heading down towards Earth, and then we're going to look at a picture of how big these things are, and just think, put this in your mind for now, that you take a Honda Civic. Everyone's seen a Honda Civic? They're pretty small. They seem pretty light. You could look at it and say, I could picture like 4 people picking that thing up, okay? Now picture you take it to the top of the Empire State Building, and, well, not the Empire State Building. It's not a very good building because you would hit the floors below it. But let's say you took it to the top of the Empire State Building and you threw it out. And you threw it out there and it starts falling towards Earth, okay? Here comes this Honda Civic, which is going to max out at probably about 250 miles per hour when it gets to terminal velocity. And at that speed, imagine what kind of force you would have to propel out the bottom of it in some sort of rocket blast that would slow the Honda Civic down and have it land softly on the Earth. Now realize that the Honda Civic weighs about 3,000 pounds and the rocket that's landing weighs 20 tons. It weighs 40,000 pounds. And you're telling me that little rocket blast, the little fire that comes out of the bottom, is going to slow down. And think how fast it's coming. Like I said, the Honda Civic is moving 250 miles per hour. And the rocket is moving sometimes, I mean, I'm trying to think of how fast it's coming. It's moving at least 3,000 as it's getting close to the final burn. And at the final burn, I mean, how much, think of the hole that the thing would blow out of the Earth. When it's landing, that just has flames coming out the bottom, and the thing just lands softly on the launch pad. You need to be able to think. I don't know why they're fooling us. I don't know what reason it is. It might be to divide humanity. I don't know. The truth is that you are smarter than to think that that's possible. That 40,000 pounds can land on a landing pad, slowly, just gently land down. I'm just 40,000 pounds. That's it. I'll come down and shoot some flames out of my ass and I'll land softly. Sorry, it's not the way things work. Think about the Honda Civic. And think about a flame coming out of it, enough that would slow it down as it came down to the Earth and land right on your front driveway. Do you think there'd be a hole in your front driveway? Because think of the power of the blast that would need to come out of the bottom of that to make it slow down and land softly on your driveway. There would be a huge hole in your driveway, and we're talking about a Honda Civic, 3,000 pounds. Nothing compared to this rocket. It's clear. It's clear-cut deception in your face. Let's cut the video wrong. Let's make this one over a little bit so people can't tell. Same video, same exact screen, and just one frame off. Again, the cheering by all the people who work there, who are paid to cheer. Again, somebody might pause it. If they paused it here, then they would say, that looks the same. And they pause it again, they'd say, oh, nope, there it's different. It's different, they're definitely different. But then just go one more frame, click, click, and it's the same.
Side core entry burns orbit.
The center core in the upper left of your screen performing its own re-entry burn. You can see the edge of Cape Canaveral in both of the side booster cameras as those are coming in.
PY and NY side boosters have saved. Center core entry burn shut.
I mean, look at this thing now. This thing's coming down with no flames coming out.
Down.
And even though those look very similar...
Okay, so again, here's where he says it. Listen carefully.
Those look very similar, those two boosters' views. Those are actually representing different boosters.
So even though, let's hear him again, because what does he say? They're representing different boosters. What do you mean they're representing different boosters? We don't say that, oh, this camera from the third base line of this baseball game is representing the view from the third base line. Well, no, it's the camera view from the third base line. It's not representing anything.
Center core entry burn shutdown.
And even though those look very similar, those two boosters' views, those are actually representing different boosters. And they're heading towards Earth. They're about to begin their landing burns. We'll hopefully be able to bring you nice footage of that.
I mean, who is in the control room that doesn't realize what's going on? Who's in the control room like, oh, I guess we'll just let people think that that's the 2 rockets and just play the same feed twice, but I'll make this one a frame short and I'll cut the video off on this one. I mean, give me a break. It's purposeful deception.
And watch for the landing lights deploy at the tail end of that landing.
And that landing burn has started.
Okay, so I just want to watch you. Remember the amount of time that's going to take place between this thing is falling out of the sky, 40,000 pounds. Falling out of the sky. It's going to blast a little flame out the bottom, and that's going to stop it. Nice and slowly land on the Earth, and there's no hole a mile deep where it's landing.
And watch for the landing lights deploy at the tail end of that landing.
Okay, still hasn't shot anything out yet. Still nothing yet. It's just coming down. That Honda Civic's coming. Shoot a flame. You're stopping 40,000 pounds. Look at this thing. 40,000 pounds. Yep. Not going to blow a hole right through that asphalt and just land like that. Ta-da! Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to believe that, putas, enjoy yourself. Enjoy being deceived and people laughing at you for it. I mean, this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Now, am I saying nothing lands there? Nope. I've seen enough footage from people who are all around the area. They all see the same thing. Congratulations, folks. You are cheering for a helium balloon coming down. That's what you're cheering for. You know, that's it. It isn't important to me so much anymore to expose how they're doing it. I don't care how they're doing it. People can do magic tricks. Magic tricks are amazing. Watching David Copperfield is amazing. They're magic tricks. Now, you don't go home and say, I'm not going to be happy until I figure out how David Copperfield did those tricks. No, you just get over it and say, well, he did tricks. He tricked me. Oh, well. That's how we should face this. I don't know how they're tricking you. I don't know if it's projections. I don't know if it's helium balloons. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. Because guess what? If you put a bunch of helium into a shell thing like that, as big as these things are, and you drop them out of a plane, you could probably control them and have them land softly on the Earth. Because they probably weigh 500 pounds. Okay? They don't even weigh what a Honda Civic does. Fill it up with helium, let it come down with a certain weight, blast some fire out the bottom of it, have a little remote control, land the thing on the pad. Everybody goes crazy, including Elon Musk, that says it's the greatest thing he's ever seen. Guy's probably never seen a woman naked. Obviously, to say that's the greatest thing. Oh, those rockets landing is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Well, then you need to get a life. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then, of course, we've got the this footage. Sometimes the footage goes out because it shakes so bad, but the cameras on the rockets that just landed, they had no problem. That shaking wasn't bad at all. But the barge, it shakes so much. It shakes like crazy.
So it looks like that landing is happening at the moment.
Now, here I can't decide, was he told on the thing, okay, say it crashed, and then told, oh, no, don't. Or what was he told here? Listen.
We're hoping that signal comes back shortly.
Yeah, as Michael mentioned earlier, with the vibrations of the rocket and how it shakes up the cameras that are on the drone ship.
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah, whatever you say.
Lose signal or shakes up the antennas.
Shakes the antennas. Look at. I mean, I just laugh at these people. Watch her face. Watch. I mean, these people are just. They know what they're doing.
Stage 2, nominal parking orbit insertion.
It's impossible for people to lie like this and keep a straight face. Look at her.
We have lost signal. We're hoping that
Look at her. Okay, I got my smile on. Okay. Yeah. Okay, smile. Yeah. Okay. Right, the vibrations, and now watch her face.
That are on the drone ship. Sometimes we do lose signal or shakes up the antennas.
Right. Look at that face. Ooh. I'm a liar. This doesn't even make sense what I'm saying.
We're waiting to hear what happens, and so we're listening in, and we're still waiting to hear. We'll let you know.
Well, he just heard.
Signal or shakes up the antennas.
Watch him now.
Oh, and we've just gotten confirmation.
I can't decide if he was told that it crashed and he was going to say it, or was he told it did landed and he didn't say it. Because whatever, you can kind of look at his face. He almost looks like he's disappointed.
So it looks like that landing is happening at the moment. We have lost signal. We're hoping that signal comes back shortly.
See him again.
Oh, man. Yeah, as Michael mentioned earlier with the vibrations of the rocket and how it shakes up the cameras that are on the drone ship, sometimes we do lose signal.
Watch his face
or shakes
here.
up the antennas.
Oh, and we've just gotten confirmation. Oh.
We're waiting to hear what happens, and so we're listening in, and we're still waiting to hear. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. You'll know.
Yeah, so they'll let you know as soon as they find out, and then they never tell you for the rest of the telecast, so I'm sure they didn't know either.
People are cheering, but we'll get the call and know hopefully very, very soon how that center core is doing, whether it's standing up proud on that drone ship or not.
Meanwhile,
other two landings.
Those were absolutely gorgeous.
Wait a second, now I'm trying to see. Is this camera behind us? Behind them, is that the drone? I didn't see that before.
Is happening at the moment. We have lost signal.
Look back here.
Signal comes back shortly.
Oh man!
There's even somebody who brings out a hose and is hosing it off. Watch.
And how it shakes up the cameras that are on the drone ship. Sometimes
Watch over here.
Lose signal or shakes up the antennas.
It's probably on the.
We've just gotten confirmation.
We're waiting to hear
That's
what
probably
happens,
the two
so
rockets
we're
on the ground, I'm
listening
guessing.
and we're still waiting to hear. We'll let you know as soon as we find out.
But watch, a hose will come out here and start hosing it off.
But we'll get the call and know hopefully very, very soon how that center core is doing, whether it's standing up proud on that drone ship or not.
Meanwhile,
see this?
Those were absolutely gorgeous. Meanwhile, the second stage is continuing its trajectory towards Mars. It's all looking good there. John Ike.
Interesting. But again, to think that at that speed, and then with that kind of a, turn off the volume because it bugs me. And again, if you need more proof, which you shouldn't, because I just showed you that it's the same camera view, but the absolute proof, just so nobody can argue that much, you may argue that they did it on purpose or that they accidentally input the same video twice. You can argue that all you want. I can't disprove that. But as far as proving it's the same feed, that's easy. And I'll show you here as we get closer. The best way to know is, okay, so as it's coming down here, you'll notice there's two pads. We're looking for the circles with the little target on them. And so look at this first one here. So you'll see the circle with the target, and then there's a straight path to it. Okay, see that straight path? But then this one, there is the bent path. Okay, so you got straight path here, you got bent path here, and they both land at the bent path. So here's the bent path one, bent path. Obviously, they are both going to land on the same pad. So they're the same video. Why they did that, I'm sure they'll have to come out in a couple days and say that they accidentally had the same feed and one was a frame off or some bullshit. Again, let's just watch that land one more time just so we can see. 40,000 pounds. 40,000. And this flame is going to stop 40,000 pounds from hitting the Earth, and the flame that's coming out of it isn't going to dig a hole half a mile deep. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. Now, again, did things land there? I'll say yes. Whether it was an actual thing that landed there or whether it was some sort of projection, or I don't know if this is some sort of model. I don't know that. Are they fooling you? Absolutely. And if you want to believe it, you are free to believe it. I can't stop you from that, but I just can't really see how anybody could be that trusting of other people without having extraordinary evidence. That is not extraordinary evidence. Somebody can go, for instance, Red's Rhetoric has said before, what are you saying? We've got video, dude, of it landing. We got video of it landing. Yeah, and people have videos of David Copperfield making cars disappear. He made the Empire State Building disappear. He made the Statue of Liberty disappear. We've got video of it, dude. It happened. The Statue of Liberty disappeared, dude. No, we're smart enough to recognize magic. That's a magic trick. That's what you're watching. It's a magic trick. It's not real. And we have the smarts to walk away from David Copperfield and say, that was a good show. People should walk away from Cape Kennedy and say, Cape Canaveral, say, that was a good show. We got a good show back there. They launched something with flames. We all shook in our bones. It was really loud. We took video of it. It was a good show. That's what we should be saying. Not, it was real, dude. 40,000 pounds, straight up candlesticks land just slowly and softly on the earth. No, sorry. It's not real. I don't know what to tell you other than it's not real. Let's see here. What else did I want to show you? So we'll go real quick and look at this Instagram. I just want to show you the size of it in case you don't realize, because I may be saying that, you see it landing, and like, I don't really see what he's saying. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let me show you what I mean by the size of it. Okay, this is the size of the rocket. That is a man right here. Okay, so this man is standing next to this is the legs of this rocket. So you might get a better idea of the amount of weight, the amount of mass that this rocket is. And then it's got this little flame thing, and look at this little, nothing even burnt on the concrete. Think about that, 40,000 pounds. You're going to stop this thing from falling to the earth. Again, I don't know of what kind of little test it is or something, but this is a test. This is a test of your intelligence, your ability to stand up for yourself as a human being and say what's true and what's factual, and laugh at people who try and tell you differently. Okay? If you really think that this is happening, I don't know what to tell you. People say, well, go out and watch it yourself. Why? I just told you I can go to David Copperfield and watch for myself and make a car disappear. It doesn't mean it's going to prove it to me. I'm going to walk away and say, yeah, that was a good show. He did a great job of using magic. Many people know how to fool you. And trust me, David Copperfield has probably made $52 million in his life. He doesn't get $52 million a day to fool you, but he can do quite a good job. Let's look up Rob Skiba's video just real quick, because he did a great video recently. Rob Skiba, I'll just look up his channel here. And in that video, he had a little section, and I'll actually tell a story too about something that happened to me. It kind of is almost like his story, but mine's with hypnotism, not, here's this video here. Rob Skiba, great channel. Check him out, please. And let's see where this part is. Where was it? Okay, here. Okay, so
When I was in high school, and the girl I was dating.
So, I mean, this is happening in real time with people that can be there watching. This guy's floating. We're taking hula hoops over his head. Now, if this was happening in space, you'd have Red's Rhetoric saying, dude, they're doing it right in front of you, dude. It's live. Live in front of you, dude. It can't be wires. They're putting the hula hoop around him. It's a lie. It's a magic trick. It's fooling you. It's a great show. Okay? Doesn't prove anything. Because somebody took a video of somebody floating in the air does not mean people float in the air. Okay? It means people can trick you, and they can look like they're floating in the air. I mean, look at this. Now, people would just say, well, that's easy. He's on strings. He's on strings. But yeah, but then they put him in the little box, and they close the top. But we know it's a trick. People are smart enough. Nobody would ever believe this. Nobody's going to see this and go, I really think he's floating. It's like, no, you don't. Everybody looks at that and says, wow, that's pretty cool, but he's obviously on some sort of strings, or he's being they're tricking us somehow. Okay, we obviously know that that's not going on. That's not real. But people, because it's space, because it's a place you'll never go, because it's planets you'll never see, because it's a spin you'll never feel, because it's a sun 1,000,000 times big as the Earth you'll never experience, but that you'll give people your trust. Nope, people float in space. They float on the way to the moon. Why? I thought that they're falling in orbit around the Earth. That's why they float. They're falling. So they're basically, it's, you know, there's zero gravity, but it's really because they're falling. But when they go to the moon, those guys were floating. Why were they floating? Were they falling to the Earth or falling to the moon? You know, it doesn't make any sense. But people will believe it. And the story that Skiba tells is about his girlfriend getting picked out of a crowd to go backstage with Copperfield, and then she came back out and sat next to him, and you'll have to watch the video, but basically said, well, what did you do? And she says, I can't say. And then he comes out to the crowd and picks her out of everybody, and then she does all this crazy stuff and floats and does these tricks and levitates and things like that. And I was at a show back when I was probably 16 or 17, and I went to Reno with my parents, and of course I couldn't gamble, but one of the things my parents did was they let my sister and I pick a show that we could go see, because some of the shows will let you go to the shows if you're underage. So I picked this hypnotism show, and I sat at this table. The tables in the front were like 5. They were tables of 5. They were like round tables. And there was this family of 4, a mom and a dad, and the 2 children. The guy was probably, looked a little older than me. The girl was about my age. And so I was sitting with this family, and then the guy comes out before the show and says, hey, we want volunteers who want to get hypnotized. Come over here, and we're going to do a little test on you, and then you can possibly be on the stage, make the show. So this kid says, the guy's a little older than me, tells his parents he wants to do it, and his parents are like animately against it. They're saying, no, don't do that. You're going to embarrass us. You're going to embarrass yourself. He's like, no, I want to do it. And they're like, no. Tells his sister. His sister's like, do it. So he's like, I'm going to go get in line. So he goes and gets in line to get interviewed. And all of a sudden he comes back and says, I got picked. I'm going to go do it. And they're like, oh, okay. That's fine. So he goes and he's backstage now. So then they come out and there's like the chairs sitting on the stage. There's like 15 people on there. And this guy starts hypnotizing these people. And throughout the show, you could tell he'd like eliminate people, or like people who weren't quite hypnotized enough. He would say, okay, thanks for being a great sport. And then he would send them back to their seat. But throughout the night, he was like eliminating people to then, towards the end, it was like 3 people left. And this kid that was sitting at my table was one of them. And his parents were kind of nervous because they started to do some crazy stuff. Like one of the things was they poured a bunch of glass all over the floor, and they poured a bunch of coals, and then they lit the coals. So it was like this fiery glass pit, and they're making these people walk across it. And I mean, I watched his parents. They were like scared shitless. And this guy just walked across the coals like nothing, and then went and sat back down. Well, then 3 people did that. Anyway, end of the show, he tells them that he's going to erase their memory, that they didn't just do everything they did. And then they're going to show them on a video camera or on a screen, and that watch their surprise when they find out what they did. So at this point, I'm still kind of like, I'm sure this guy's in on it or something, right? And he comes back to the table, because he snaps his fingers or whatever, says the magic word, says, okay, thanks, guys. You've been great sports. Go back to your seats. So the kid comes walking back over, sits down at the table of 5. His parents are like looking at him like, what the hell? How did you do that? And he's looking at them, and his sister's like, how did you do that? And he says, do what? And he says, how did you just walk across those coals? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Walk across what coals? And like, how did you just do what you did on stage that whole time? He had no idea. And then they bring out this TV and show him, and he's like shocked. And I mean, to this day, it made me believe in hypnotism. Now, could that have been a trick too? Possibly. I don't think they did it for my purpose. They certainly didn't sit him down next to me to like trick me. But I know enough about hypnotism to know that hypnotism is very true, based on I don't know where that story came from, but just the whole idea of magic and hypnotism. I do think is possible. So sometimes, I don't know how much they could hypnotize like a Buzz Aldrin, for instance. You tell the guy the day before, hey, sorry, we know we told you you're going to the moon. You're not really going to the moon. And then he's like, what? Oh, okay, well, we need you to do this. You're going to act this out in a plane and whatever. And then maybe they hypnotize him down the road. And now the guy doesn't know if he went or not. He thinks he went. Who knows? There's so many possibilities with what they could do, how they could do it. With the astronauts that are up there now, I tend to think that the answer is these people are willing to take money because they're not intelligent. They're not smart. If you really think about, I'll add that one video 1 second. If you think about how, if you had 4,000 applicants to be an astronaut and then you pick one, think of how intelligent that person would be. I mean, they would be talking and just the information coming out of their mouth, you'd be like, wow, that person's so smart. I've never heard an astronaut say a smart thing in my life. Never once. Never heard one of them even come close to sounding intelligent because they're not. They're everyday people who are getting selected. Old men, old women. I mean, believe me, I'm not against people of different ages or whatever, but I'm not fit to go be an astronaut. Okay, I know that much. A 60-year-old woman should recognize she's not fit enough. She's not somebody that you would send to space on a rocket that's pulling 6 Gs. That's just not the kind of people we would send to space. But it is for NASA. They'll send a 60-year-old woman, 15 times. She's broken the record for most of the times in space. But she can't even tell what experiment she's doing. Like, what experiments are you doing? Oh, we're doing a lot of science because we're trying to advance science for the children. And my favorite thing is the curve of the Earth. That's what we get. Let me see here if I can find this video of these astronauts talking nonsense. They asked him, did you get to watch the Super Bowl? One of them said, no, I had to go to bed. It was too late for me to watch the Super Bowl. I thought that I saved it and maybe I didn't. I just watched it. I don't see that right now. And the other one we were watching, I'm not sure. We could just listen to that one for examples, I guess, while I try and look for this other one. Let's do that. And this one, I'm not even sure what they're talking about in this one, but let's hear them anyway. Hello? I said play? No, this one. Thank you. All right, let's turn this up.
Holidays were a special time for all of us. Obviously, this is all three of our first times up on station, and to spend it here on ISS, what a unique opportunity to do that, especially with the colleagues that we are and the years that we've known each other. It was very special time in our lives. We did spend it by talking with our families a little bit on some video conferences.
Remember, this guy got picked out of 4,000 applicants. He's the best pick for astronaut.
And with phone calls, but the Christmas time was a little bit busy. We had a lot of work to do with some cargo ops with the Dragon that's attached or docked to ISS. And on New Year's Day, we took a little bit of time off, but more importantly, we celebrated by having a nice, good dinner with our Russian colleagues down in the Russian segment. They were very hospitable to us, and it was fun to sit and relax with them.
Good job.
Speaking of a
Congratulations.
good dinner, did actually Mission Control allow you a sip of champagne there?
I didn't hear the question right. I'm looking for something else. 1 second.
No, I think the question was, were we allowed champagne? No, we're not allowed any alcohol, but our Russian crewmates went ahead and made us some grape juice with labels that made it look like we had champagne, so that was kind of fun to pretend.
Speaking about holidays on the orbit, there's a multinational crew, and definitely depends on the national holidays, religious holidays. You could celebrate them many times. Do you usually do it all together, or there's like separate groups that celebrate in their corners?
That's a really good question. We come from, we have 16 to 18 international partners that make up the ISS program, and we all work very hard together.
Oh, and not switching the screen, sorry.
Right now we have three nationalities, being Russia, Japan, and America on board in the close quarters. So we recognize each other's holidays, and we celebrate their holidays, they celebrate our holidays. We respect all of our different cultures, and we celebrate in the togetherness on the special days that our friends have.
I oftentimes heard about American wing and the Russian wing on this station. So basically what we see when the new crew arrives on the orbit, that everybody's hugging, posing together for the camera, but then it looks like the work goes to the different parts of the station. It's like one house but different apartments. Is that how the work is usually built there? You're all separate, or how often do you actually come together and do some experiments and stuff all together, Russians, Americans, and the others?
So it is definitely one crew, but our work is controlled by, on the U.S. segment, that means Japan, the United States right now. We have our plan put together largely by Mission Control Center in Houston, leading other nations, and then the Russian crew members, their day is controlled
Switch it back
separately.
here. I found the one
so
I
yes,
wanted to show you.
most of our day we're not interacting. We certainly come together for special dinners, and we have a movie night together. And sometimes, for example, especially when we only had 3 crew members on the station, we were shorthanded for some work, and we asked the Russians to help. And
okay, let's switch you over this one. I'll remember to switch you this time. Oops, not that one. This one. All right, so this is the video I was going to show you. And let's just listen to these guys.
like I said, we're looking forward to next year, and we appreciate all the hard work that they do to bring us a great football game.
Good for you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I was wondering if you guys could talk a little bit about the status of the mission. I know, Scott, you've been up there for a couple of weeks, and Mark, you've been there a little bit longer. So can you talk just to the layman about kind of what you guys are doing up there, the different kinds of projects, and
tell us about the experiments,
kind of the basics of what it's like up there?
Sure. There's there's lots of things we're doing.
Lots of
one,
things.
we're living as humans in space, and that's always a challenge because that's not our natural environment.
No.
We make it as natural as we can. We're also doing maintenance and support of the systems up here, the life support systems and the International Space Station itself. We're also that's inside and outside. We're also doing a lot of science with.
They're doing a lot of science. A lot of science.
Several experiments that are
several experiments
happening up here. So the days are full and they're busy, and some of the most rewarding days I've ever had.
Oh boy. Some of the most rewarding days I've ever had.
Can you guys describe what your expectation, if the differences between your expectations and the reality? I know for both of you, it's your first space flight.
David, for me, it's a lot more than I expected. In fact, it's kind of, when I first arrived up here, it was hard to grasp seeing the view of the Earth from up here. Quite honestly, the workload's been more than I expected, but of course, as Scott mentioned, that's very rewarding. It's such a unique, amazing experience that I think the fact that I took so many pictures up here is going to help me believe that I actually did it.
Strange, isn't it? The other thing, and again, I can't say how they're fooling us. It's not even fun sometimes to think of all the ways, but the cupola window is built to give the Earth a round shape. And that should be... No, I know you guys are probably done watching that one. It gets boring. But... yeah, go to any astronaut video, and I dare you to send me one where the astronaut sounds intelligent. Find any astronaut sounding anywhere near intelligent, and please send it to me, ask.fm/jeranism. I certainly would love to hear it, because I can't ever hear that. So we've heard... Oh, no, don't do his video.
Okay,
sorry.
it's Destin.
That guy gives you a strike in a second. My bad. Let me find a better one. Cupola ISS. And, okay. So, like this one here, just to show you that window, where do they show it here? No, I want to do the cupola window. Okay, there we go. So, if you don't know, these windows are shaped, you can actually kind of see them, to give the Earth the curve. Okay, so there's a chance, I don't know if it's true or not, there's a chance that they're above the Earth. I don't think they're nearly 250 miles. I don't think anybody's ever been 250 miles. But there's a chance that what they're doing is even tricking these astronauts. Possibly they're just idiots. Possibly out of 4,000, they find the dumbest idiot to think you're being blasted in a rocket and you're going, and I don't know, I don't know how they're doing it. Again, that's not the important point. The important point is that they're lying to you, that this is not true, that they're not 250 miles above in orbit of the Earth flying 17,500 miles per hour. That's what's not true. But that's what this window does. The window gives you the shape of the Earth. And before they put this up, which was only in like 2000, I don't know when it was, 2000, I was going to say 2009. That's probably not right. Let me look that up before I say it and hate myself later. Cupola ISS. I want to know what the date of that thing was. Cupola ISS module. Cupola ESA built. Does it say when it was put up there? Cupola provides views. So one of the things I was going to say, though, is there was no other window in the ISS. Where does it say? Result in window, yes. Cupola's development being resumed in 1998. Didn't go up to way after that, though. Maybe I'm missing the date. Oh, right here. It was launched aboard spaceships. Oh, yeah, so 2010. So yeah, 2010 is when it went up there. And before that, which would have been, 12 years, the biggest window they had was like a 12-inch window. It's only a foot. And if you've ever watched like the time lapses, the window is what closes it off and makes it look like a ball. You can find just Cupola ISS time lapse. And so possibly these people are even being fooled. For instance, this. And just like we saw with the ISS majigger, or the Tesla thing, you cannot see the ball Earth from this point of view. So you'll notice here, clearly this is a zoomed image, this circle, and these other ones are bent. Okay, so when you watch a spacewalk and you see them use fisheye lenses, when you watch them show the Earth through a lens that shows you a big image and then curves the image, and this doesn't even look like a ball at all. It doesn't look like a ball at all. What I think they're doing is they're flying above the Earth like a hot air balloon does, like a high altitude balloon does. It's flying in a circle around the flat Earth, and they've fooled the world into thinking it's a ball, all because, can't tell you, don't know why. I've got many ideas. Many people have come up with great videos of reasons why they would do it. But to me, it's not as important as recognizing and moving past the fact that they are lying to you. And again, if you want to believe it, feel free, but you can see how this is moving at a different speed than this. That's because this is a zoom window. And see this right here? This image is a circle of view. You're up above the Earth and you're looking at the hula hoop. It's a little below your eyes. You're looking at that's not a curve of a ball. Okay, and even if it was, as we said, everybody would have only the top position. So why, when we see the ISS, do they sometimes show it underneath, sometimes on the side? That's impossible. How could you be on the side of the Earth? You can only be at the top. So what they're telling you is straight up lies, and that's all I wanted to say about that. And if you go to, now people will say, well, Jaron, it's clear that they're not up there. Let me show you why I think that they're up there. And I don't mean them meaning astronauts. I mean, for the most part, there is a high altitude plane, the same one that sends you your Himawari clouds. If you go to eoj.jsc.nasa.gov, this is the best proof I've seen of, not this, this is the window curving the Earth. Okay, the windows, they look bulged out this way to us, but they're bulged the other way, away from us. So if you go to recent, not request imagery, latest ISS imagery, you'll get this wall of video here. Oh, am I zoomed in? I'm sorry. Jeez. I'm the worst at keeping this organized. Let me zoom out of here. See, I was zoomed into the video and then change the screen. So get this back so you can see a little better. Alrighty, let's go like that. Alright, so you get this wall of images. And actually, you probably want to see it even zoomed in a little more. Let me zoom in like that. Alright, there you go. Transition. And it changes like every 2 weeks, or every week actually. And if you go to, let me find it here. Yes, you can just grab this and you can drag it. And these are just image after image after image. Now, never before, and I hate saying things like this because then somebody will go and do it, but never before has they turned the camera and shown that there's people inside whatever this plane is. Never. It's just, and nobody's taking these images. Look how they're just snapped off one after another. Blink, 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 all the way down this wall. And this happens like every 2 weeks. You can get one of these images like this. Now, to me, most of these are high altitude plane images. What is that? I don't know what that purple is or whatever there. And usually the ones with the curve have obviously been added. Get over there. Go this way. Okay, I'm having trouble organizing this thing. Go this way. What? There we go. Let me get to some daytime. What? Oh, there's some. I mean, this is all, added. The curve part is added. But then again, when you watch a film like from Dwayne Kellum, you can just picture that they're just up a little bit higher. And it's flying around the Earth. I don't know. These pictures, usually you can get daytime images. Like, that's not very helpful. That doesn't look real at all. And see how they're like going by? You can watch on your right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it like I can. You can see that the thing is just flying above the Earth. See it? I don't know if you could see what I'm looking at. Now the images ran out. But yeah, see, I'm flying through this, and it's actually making a movie on the right-hand side. And you can actually see what it's doing. It's flying above the Earth. And let me see. Usually you can get better pictures. Let me put in something that would be, I'll put in California. Usually you can go search photos. And I'll put in California here. California. And this will take a while to search, so we'll come back to that. Cupola, we talked about that. I was going to show you the, we looked at that. Then we're going to go with we saw that. I mean, some of these things are just embarrassing when you read through these comments. My goodness, it's like, oh man, it makes me sad. People get mad again if you think that you dare question this thing. People will go crazy. But there's people on here that say things like, "I'll do anything for you, Elon. I will. I just wish I could touch you." I mean, things like that. It's like, holy smokes. Maybe it was over here on the Twitter one. So this is this is the little picture that shows why so this is Elon's Roadster, and this is the orbit that it's going to miss. Oh, shucks, man. It's not going to go to Mars. But the way he said it says, third burn successful, exceeded Mars orbit and kept going to the asteroid belt. So it didn't exceed Mars orbit. It's going to exceed Mars orbit. And it didn't kept going to the asteroid belt. It will keep going to the asteroid belt. So I don't really know why he's describing it as if it's already happened. Says here, last picture of fake Starman in Roadster on its journey to Mars orbit and then the asteroid belt. So what does last picture mean? Why is there a last picture? That's it? So the camera worked for 4 hours, everything was fine, and this is it? Oh, last picture. I mean, come on, people. Really, really think about the things we're just handing these people, just allowing them to lie to your face over something you'll never experience. Go ahead and tell somebody to pay you, like, hey, give me $50 for Disneyland. You go, like, sweet, we're going to Disneyland? No, just give me $50 for Disneyland. I'm going to tell you about it. There's going to be cool rides there, and Mickey will be there, and give me $50. You'd be like, no, I'm not giving you $50. I want to experience it to go there. But these guys will take your money, like, oh, Mars, we're gonna be a multi-planetary species. No, we're not. What are you talking about? We only exist on Earth. We have to live here. What, are you going to go to Mars where there's no ocean, there's no water, there's no food, and you have to wear a suit all the time? We're going to be a multi-planetary species where you have to wear a suit all the time and there's nothing to eat or drink? Give me a break. There's no multi-planetary, because there's no multi-planet. There's just, we live here on Earth, period. There's nothing to experience out there. You're not going to go travel for 5 months to go to Mars to live in a tent with a suit on. You're not going to be multi-planetary. Elon Musk is not a visionary. It's called stupid. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We need to be multi-planetary. Oh, so go somewhere where we can't exist? Makes sense. Can we also be, we should also then live on the bottom of the ocean. We should live. Why would we do that? Well, just because we want to weigh a big suit and a big submarine and go live down there. No, probably not, because we don't live very well down there, so we should probably live on the surface. Oh yeah, I guess so. Then people live on the surface. We don't just pick places and say, we should be a multi-volcano society where we have people that live inside the volcano. Well, why would we do that? Oh, just because we can build a craft that will go into the volcano, and then it will sit down there, and it will be such a sturdy craft that nobody will burn up alive. Oh yeah, we should live down in the volcano then. No, we shouldn't. We have a place to live. It's called not in the volcano. We have a place to live. It's called not on Mars. Okay? What, are you going to go live on the gas planet of Jupiter? Are you going to, I want to live on the moon of Europa. Shut up. It's ridiculous. Live here and can't even take care of this place, and let's go terraform Mars. We're going to launch a nuclear weapon there. Oh, this is the smartest thing I've ever heard. Very smart. Who else say that Earth Chan is flat? They can take a ride with the Starman. Yeah, good comment. Yep, you got us good on that one. Earth isn't flat now, I realize it. Let's see here. What else we got here? Oh, great. It just makes me so happy when people comment that actually have a thinking head. This person says, one astronaut on TED Talk says that space was black and there was not any star. At the same time, 2 astronauts say there were many stars and that they can see them 24/7. Whom should we trust? Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you for being a thinking person. Thank you for having a head of your own. Thank you for not just bowing down to the intellectualism of this country and this world, which do not have your best interests at heart. Why anybody would think that they would sit us all in desks as students and teach us the same thing, and that the elite and everybody around the world was like, let's teach all the children all the truths of the world so that they all can be so smart and create products that take over my power and infringe on my riches. Let's do that. That would be fun. No, not the way the world works. It works by people up in high offices sitting around saying, how can we make people as dumb as possible so that they never can take my money and they never can usurp my power? That's reality. That's what's going on. And we're so freaking dumb, we sit there and go, okay, I'll repeat whatever you say. Yeah, okay, yeah, oh, gravity does this, okay. Yeah, force, gravity, okay, force equals mass over distance square, okay. You know, whatever you say, I can't prove it, I can't show it, but this math equation says so, so it must be true, and I'm going to go make fun of anybody else that says anything different. I can laugh at them because they don't understand centrifugal force. It's just funny. It's really funny that we think this is how society would actually be built, that they would just sit us all on desks and teach you the truth. No, they'll teach you things so that you stay dumb and you can't ever do anything. So you never go to space. You never go anywhere because you're working under these equations that do nothing. I mean, oh, well, then if you throw a cannonball at a certain speed away from the Earth, it's going to land on the Earth. But if you throw it too far, it'll go out in space. But if you throw it perfect, it's going to go around the Earth and then gets into orbit. Yep. And can you show me this? Well, we have satellites up there. Can you show me pictures of them? Well, we have pictures of them being built. What do you think? They're building them for no reason? I don't know. You tell me. Let's see here. What else did I want to show you? That's probably it. I'm getting too upset now. I mean, things like this, like printed on the circuit board of a car in deep space, made on Earth by humans. Thanks, Elon. You are humanity's savior. What other ideas you have? Let's get a big, boring tunnel driver and build tunnels under the Earth where we can all go in fast trains. Brilliant. Yep, it's right around the corner, guys. Right around the corner. We're just going to bore through underneath LA and then put everybody on tracks, and the cars will be on the tracks, and they will zoom you around the Earth at 100 miles per hour because the 60 mile per hour freeways isn't cutting it anymore. Let's go 100 miles per hour on a track. Let's see here. I don't remember where the other comments were that I was going to show you. Thought they were here, but I don't know how many times I have to hit this button. Yes, I love it. People, I see flat Earth stuff is all over the place. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Fake, fake, fake. Good. People, keep doing that. Keep putting it out there because it's catching on whether you think so or not. You know, when I got my friends who were telling me months ago, dude, you're crazy. Space is real. And then they're texting me pictures today saying, tell me these guys are not saying this is real. I'm like, oh no, spaceman in space, they think that that's real. And they say, please tell me you're kidding. It's like, no, I'm not kidding. And start to pay attention. When you start to pay attention, you're going to see that this is a game. Somebody's playing a game. And the game is, how stupid is humanity to believe in something they'll never see, something they'll never experience, all because somebody tells you. Can't see the curve. We see things way further than we should. And yet people will ignore that. And they'll go to Soundly, who will show you one image, one place where it kind of looks like the Earth is curved, but at a place that would be impossible in reality. Can't have a curve after 3 or 4 miles going that way, but then nothing from left to right. And again, they don't get it. They'll argue for it. And the people that have gone against it so hard, they're just going to keep doing that. They could not possibly see the truth even if it was slapped in the face now because they've gone too far. And you know, it's like Joe Rogan saying, "Oh, I think these guys, when they have such a strongly held belief, we don't have strongly held beliefs. We believed what you did our entire life. I believed in the globe Earth 35 years of my life, believed it. Now, there was probably 5 or 6 times that I walked outside one day and looked around and said, like, geez, you know, the Earth kind of looks flat. Oh, but never mind. And I don't know if I've told that story. I'll tell it one more time just because I told David Avocado Wolf the other day when he came by. But there was a guy who called me and said that he was on a plane about 10 years ago and was looking out the plane window and saw the Earth and just said he was really looking at it and kind of contemplating like, man, the Earth looks flat. And he couldn't really picture buildings going over the far end. He said, it looks like it's flat and it's just everything's getting so small and then the horizon's getting so meshed with the sky. You know, it looks flat, like there could be more further down. I just can't see it. And so he said he was thinking this for like a half hour. So then he turned to the guy sitting in the middle seat who was at one point looking out the window also, and he turned to him and said, you ever look outside and think the Earth looks flat? And the guy says, yeah, if you're a fucking idiot. So the guy said he got like real, like, oh, my bad. and then said any time in the next 10 years that he had ever even ventured a thought anywhere near, could the earth be flat, he immediately remembered being told by that guy, only an effing idiot would think that way, and he erased it out of his mind. Said, no, I can't, what an idiot I am. That's what they've done. They've created this whole idea by teaching you the most absurd thing that there's possible, that you live on a big rock in space that's spinning with water attached to all edges of it. It's spinning. It's flying around a sun 1,000,000 times the size of Earth at 66,000 miles per hour. Then you and the sun are going 480,000 miles per hour around the Milky Way. The Milky Way, you and the sun, 2.2 million miles per hour around the Great Attractor, never been seen. Neither is the black hole at the middle of the galaxy, but we all, they believe in that. They tell you all these things. You'll never experience them. You give money out of your paycheck to NASA so that they can teach children lies. And something you'll never experience. None of your family, none of your grandchildren, none of your great-grandchildren, nobody will ever go to any planet, ever. It's just not going to happen, just like they keep saying. How many times are they going to tell you we're going back to the moon? How many times do we have to hear it? How many times are you going to hear it before you go, I think they're bullshitting. I think if somebody could go to the moon, they would be there again. They would have a base there. If you went to the moon in 1969 and through 1972, by 1980, you would have had a base there. By 85, you'd probably have people living there. By 95, you'd have a hotel there. By 2005, you'd have a shopping mall there. These things are how things work when you're talking about, it's not like somebody sailed to the United States from Europe and then said, all right, nobody's going for another 50 years. That's it. We're just done. But we know how to get across now. We know the winds. And nope, we're not going. Okay, we're just going to stay very close to the shore. We're going to stay, nobody go out further than the waves. We're just going to stay right here within 10 feet of the beach, even though we know how to get across, because we had that technology, but we lost it. It's too expensive to get it back. Okay? It's not the way it works. Never, ever, ever the way it works. I'll leave you with one other video here. Let me transfer back to this one. And one of these days I'll actually do really good at the whole transferring thing. I don't know when that day will be, but could be when I'm like 90 or 95. Let's find this little video I made just because I wanted to play it one more time, because I think it's funny. And then I'll leave you with the quote from, what's his name? Now I can't remember. Lawrence Krauss. 1 second, let me find this video. I thought that it's right here. Now I don't see it. Why do I put things in folders and never know where I put it? Where did they go? It must be on the desktop. 1 second here. There it is. All right.
They came in and joined up when it was really crucial to make it happen.
Quiet down.
But you're right. Most of our day is...
All right.
How do you feel about that?
So we're listening to Lawrence Krauss and Joe Rogan one more time. I know I played this last night, but I think it's very important, and it tells us something very important.
In
so
2017...
It's amazing. But, nothing surprises me
Not only
anymore.
that, gravity's not real and dinosaurs aren't real.
I know. And the people who say gravity aren't real, I have a great solution.
What?
It's a
Jump
great
off
solution.
a building?
You walk out the window of the 13th floor and test your ideas. And the great thing is do it before you reproduce.
But it's...
Do it before you reproduce. I wonder why, if you go look at all my comments, why everybody says, like, don't reproduce, dude. I hope you haven't reproduced yet. Wonder where they got that.
Magnetism thing, they believe. It's electromagnetism or something like that sucks people down to the
Yeah, that's what they can think. So
fascinating.
Carry a magnet and look at it as what happens as you're falling to the earth.
Well, it's even more hilarious is that we talked about this before the podcast started, the Japanese weather satellite that takes an image, a full image of the Earth. What is the name of that satellite again, Jamie? It takes a full image of the Earth from 22,000 miles away. People keep saying in this flat Earth theory thing that there's no images of the Earth in full, that they're all composites.
Even if you want to take a satellite's image and say that it is a image, which it's not a photograph, but even if you want to say that, all images from any satellites go through processing before you see them. Okay? So how hard would it be to take an image of a flat land and then wrap it on a ball? Okay, this is how easy it is to fool humanity, and people will be, they could never do that, but they can put these 20-ton satellites in orbit, But what are you saying? That they would actually take an image and then process it first and put it on a ball? That's impossible.
That's not true.
It's not true.
There are images of the Earth that are taken every 10 minutes by this one satellite, and they're high resolution. You can access them online.
Okay, if they're high resolution from 22,000 miles, go take a high resolution image from 22,000 miles away from something. You could only do it by taking much smaller images and then putting them together, which is called a composite. In which case, you wrap it on a ball and you give people the ability to zoom, and they think we live on a ball.
You want. But people see those and they want to think they're fake, but yet they believe there's an ice wall around Antarctica that you cross over and you fall to the abyss. Where's this photo of the ice wall?
Tell me first where anybody ever said that you fall to the abyss. Show me a flat earther that says there's an ice wall in Antarctica, and if you climb over it, you fall into the abyss. There's nobody who said that. It's never been said ever in the history of the world. And yet people want to say things like that. This is what they mean by an ice wall. What we mean is that water has to be held in a basin. Okay? The basin is just like when they tell you that, oh, Pangea, the continents, they moved apart. The continents didn't move apart. They're all the same thing. They're attached to the ground. Everything has a ground. How did the continents move? What did they move on? The ocean has a ground underneath it that connects North America and Europe and Africa. They're all connected. So would the ground just moved along? Doesn't make any sense. But if you think about it, they're basins for the oceans. And as smart as these guys think they are, and you don't have to believe in a God if you don't want to, but I'll tell you that it would take some magnificent, unbelievable, unexplainable entity to fill the Earth's oceans. Somebody did it. To create what we live on. Somebody did it. Wasn't Neil deGrasse. I'll tell you that much right now. Wasn't Neil deGrasse. Wasn't Bill Nye. These guys are not smart enough to tie their shoes. But something awfully more amazing than them did put us here. Don't know who. It's not my place to tell you who to believe in, who to trust, who to worship.
Or have they?
But there is a ice wall, which is the shore. Now, sometimes it's not a wall like this. Sometimes it's just a shore, like a beach. And it surrounds the Earth. And the water of the oceans is all held in by the outer edge. Now, what's that way? What's over here if you walked forever and ever and ever? I have no idea. I've never been there. No idea. Could there be more land? Could there be more water? Hey, all things are out in the open when you've been lied to like we have. I certainly am not going to tell you that there's not. Here's the other thing. Pay attention to the fact that they've kept us dependent on liquid fuels, okay? Like gasoline. Because by doing that, you can't get in a plane and go check. You can't just get in a plane and say, I'm going to Antarctica and I'm going to fly that way, because even if you found water on the other side, you don't know what you're going to be out of gas. That's why they do that. You can't go on a boat. They don't let you take fuel on your boat and go below 60 degrees. Why not? Why? These guys are out drilling in cores. We're drilling ice cores. They're using backhoes and everything out there, but we can't take fuel on our boat and go to Antarctica. Come on, guys, wake up. Okay, they don't want you to take fuel down there because you might just find a crack in the thing and go. Say, I'm going through this crack. I'm going to find out what's on the other side. But if you don't have any fuel, you're going to be scared shitless. Because you're like, we don't have fuel. We don't have far enough. We can't get far enough. So that's what they've done, is they've trapped you with longitude and latitude. They've put you in a circular area, and they've said, this is all there is. You live on a ball. Can't go anywhere else. And if you try, good luck, because your plane's going to run out of gas. If free energy ever came out, then you would be able to do those things. So why do you think they're so animate about blocking free energy? Because then people would build planes, and they would just say, I'm going that way. I'm flying for as long as I can. This is why there's no north-south circumnavigation. Because you can go south. You can go south, and you can keep flying. Now, would be completely just estimating or making conjectures if I were to tell you what would happen if you kept going south. Half of me says you get farther away from the sun. Good luck. It's going to get cold. It's going to get dark. It's going to get scary. And go that way if you want. The other half of me says the Iron Republic, stuff like that, there's another side. There's more water. There's more land. But they've blocked us from going there because who in their right mind is going to get in a plane and just say, I'm just going? Well, there's nowhere to stop off for gas in Antarctica. And if you got to the other side and you started flying above that water, you don't know how far it is. The Iron Republic said that they're the same distance away from the ice wall that the United States is. So if you just flew down there and got to the other side, that's a long flight. And if you don't have enough gas, you're going to drop into the ocean, and that's a tough survival place to be. Let's continue with this little video. I thought.
Have they never? Well,
how does someone fly from Japan to the United States?
So, this is people who are going to go and make comments about it. There's like this physicist that wrote an article the other day. I sent him an email. I'm like, do you realize how dumb you sound to somebody like me? Because he said in this article, these idiots who think the Earth's flat, there's a simple experiment anybody can do to prove that the Earth's a ball. The Aristophanes did it, and it's like, holy shit, do you realize how stupid you sound? That the experiment that he did would have the same results with a close local sun? That's how dumb this physicist, he's proving my point. He's a physicist. He's went to school. He's done all these studies. He's so smart. He's got his credentials, but he's never considered the flat Earth. So of course he thinks it's ridiculous, but he just proves my point. When you go and write a big article about how dumb flat earthers are, well, basically because you've never studied it, because you just take what people say and call it fact. I wrote him a big long email and said, your Aristophanes character is a joke. It didn't even really happen. It couldn't have happened. And I explained to him exactly why. How did somebody who thought that the sun went around the Earth also think that the sun was an infinite distance away and also think it was sending parallel rays? And it's just nonsense. It didn't happen. It's a story that somebody told in 15, 16, 1700 to convince people that the Earth's a ball and that we've known it forever.
I don't believe that people can fly around the world. I've done it. I've done and that they're all.
So we don't believe people can fly around the world? This is what Lawrence Krauss said. Somebody who should hear about flat Earth and say, I'm interested in what these guys are saying because clearly the Earth's not flat. So you would go and you'd research it and you'd study it and you'd look in and say, well, how do they say that people fly around the Earth? Because clearly people do that. Rather than just show up at Joe Rogan's show and say they don't believe people can fly around the Earth.
Lying. Here's another one.
They think everyone's lying. We think everyone's lying about. No, sorry. You fly from Japan to America.
Have they ever thought of time zones?
Have we ever thought of time zones? Has somebody who has looked into flat Earth for 45 minutes had that question? Have they ever heard of time zones? Have they ever thought about them? Oh, man. Everybody go home. Babe, I was wrong. Earth's a ball. We forgot about time zones. Yeah. So, when it's midnight here, it's like noon somewhere else, and the sun's out. I know. I didn't think about it. Sorry, guys. 3 years of research. I didn't think about time zones.
Why are there time zones if the Earth is flat?
Yeah. Why are there time zones if the Earth is flat?
Why are there time zones?
Stop asking the question.
The only reason they're time, they should go from.
The only reason there's time zones is because the Earth's a ball. This is a theoretical physicist, somebody with a degree, with a PhD, who is about to say that the only reason there can be time zones is if the Earth's a ball.
New York to LA and see,
See this circle? Lawrence, this place over here is at noon, and then across from it's midnight. And then this place is 6 a.m. because the sun's coming around, it's about to rise. And this place is 6 p.m. because the sun's set. That took a lot of research.
What? The time is different.
Leprechauns.
Do they think it's well, no, but they probably.
And then Joe has to say leprechauns. Got to throw in the joke. It's funny.
I think it's a human invention.
Yeah.
But the sun is still shining in L.A. when it's gone down in New York.
The sun is still shining in L.A. It's gone down in New York. Yep, it's shining in L.A. It's gone down in New York. This is day one of flat Earth research.
They can call their friends and check.
You can call your friends and check, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And if the Earth was flat, that wouldn't be the case.
If the Earth was flat, that wouldn't be the case.
It's only the case because the Earth is curved.
It's only the case because the Earth is curved.
I mean, so those simple.
Now here comes the end all be all, and I'll leave you with this one, because if people who believe in the ball Earth only understood what he's about to say, and I can't even picture him saying it, because how do you let these words leave your mouth and not realize what you're saying is directly about yourself? It's comical.
Things should convince people, but people are willing to throw out evidence if they have a belief that's really firm. And
so people are willing to throw out evidence if they have a belief that's really firm. I wonder who takes evidence of the flat Earth and throws it out because they have a belief that's really firm, that they live on a ball, and that's where they got their job, and that's how they make their money, and that's what they were taught in school. Who has a firm belief, and who discovered something 3 years ago and started speaking out about it like, hey, I think we've been lied to. I don't have a firm belief that the Earth's flat. My research has shown me that the Earth is flat.
What I said before is we have to realize the easiest person to fool is yourself.
The easiest person to fool is yourself.
So if you're not willing to question your beliefs, especially those that you hold particularly cherished beliefs in, If you're not willing to question those, you're not gonna ever grow.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it, particularly cherish, because I think a lot of people do cherish these ideas, things like the Earth being flat.
So we cherish the Earth being flat, okay?
Because it gives them some sort of information leg up on everybody.
It gives them an information leg up on everybody else. That's why I'm here. That's why I do live videos. That's why I make videos about the flat Earth, because I like having an information leg up on everybody else. Does this make any sense to anyone? Why would we tell a person? Why would we tell a soul? Like, I know the Earth's flat. I'm going to keep it to myself, not tell anybody. Or do we feel bad because growing up my entire life, I never thought I could question the shape of the Earth. I never thought there was a reason to question it. It's clearly scientific. They've done all the testing, the scientific method. I was taught the scientific method. So if the Earth went through the scientific method like all science should, clearly the Earth's a ball. Then you go look into it and you find out you got assholes saying, but boats go over the edge. And then you go out to the beach and you use your camera and you zoom in, the boat comes back. You're like, seems like an optical effect. I don't think boats go over the edge at all. And then you start looking into the other things, and like Aristophanes and 370b, and then you debunk that. And then you say, what else? So water goes down the opposite way in the opposite Nope, that's an old wives' tale. Then what? And you keep going and realize we believe something that has zero evidence. The only evidence they have is photos from a space agency that tells you they went to the moon 50 years ago. That's what you have.
I know something that people don't know.
Or makes them feel better about themselves.
Yes.
They may hate gays.
Yeah, I feel better. They may hate gays. Oh boy, I just have to hear that one more time. This is
Question
too funny.
those. You're not gonna.
Let's hear about
the
growing.
easiest person to fool is yourself. So if you're not willing to question your beliefs, especially those that you hold particularly cherished beliefs in, if you're not willing to question those, you're not gonna ever grow.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it, particularly cherished.
Wow, I don't know what else to say. Hey guys, if the truth about the Falcon Heavy is that it is a hoax, it is a lie, I don't know how. I don't have to give you evidence how. I can look at that. My evidence is my eyes. When you look at something and you know it's fake, just like if somebody said, well, give me evidence that David Copperfield didn't make that car disappear. I don't have evidence, dipshit. He didn't make the car disappear. David Copperfield didn't float on that stage because I know the truth that people can't float. That's how you get evidence. So the evidence of the hoax of fake and space starman or whatever the hell his name is to simply go look at it. Go watch the video and decide for yourself. Stop trusting other people. Open your mind and find your own truth and be kind, don't lie. And until next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace.